Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.
What's going on, everyone? Happy Memorial Day here on the Heel of the Ring podcast on a holiday afternoon. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. Let's talk some wrestling. We got some WWE, NXT, TNA, AEW, and more. What's going on, Chris? How are you, buddy?
What is up, Kev? What's up, everybody? Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yes, we're here for weekly wrestling. Let's talk wrestling. Obviously, you know, with all the wrestling going on this weekend, we had to do our show here on Monday after all the wrestling's over. So thank you guys for, being with us here on your Memorial Day. We're just, we won't be here too long. We were trying not to. We just got a lot to talk about. This is an episode that we can't wait. If we had to, a lot of wrestling, we'd skip it. We can't do this with this week. A lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. But let's talk about one thing that just like our show changed from a Saturday to a Monday, we're talking about the biggest show of them all, the Showcase of the Immortal. The announcement that WrestleMania 42 New Orleans will no longer be in New Orleans. It's going to be a place unknown, undisclosed. Right now, Vegas might be returning or back to Vegas, or we don't know what's going on. When I first heard that, first thing I thought, I remember tweeting to you in the DMs, I said, I think this is going to London.
Yeah, that was yeah. I think they're going to go to Vegas. I don't, like I said, I told you when we first talked about it a little bit, I think we were going on the air for, a TNA or some watch along. And I said, let me see what could possibly be the reason, because they didn't announce the Money in the Bank yet. That was just rumors, and then they finally announced it Friday. I believe it's as simple as Vegas said, hey, you guys made us a fuck ton of money, but you guys gave us a shitty WrestleMania. Run it back. We'll give you more than New Orleans. And how greedy TKO is with their money, I think they said yes. I think they said absolutely, we'll take it back to Vegas. You're giving us more than New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans, we'll give you guys Money in the Bank. Instead of WrestleMania, we'll give you guys Money in the Bank after SummerSlam next year. It's on August 29th. Are you serious? August 29th for Money in the Bank? Okay. But I think that's what it is, Kev. I think it's as simple as they said, hey, we'll give you guys more money. Give us a better WrestleMania. Because the Vegas Strip was crazy. I mean, you had all these independent shows. Look, Comic-Con, the wrestling convention that they do during WrestleMania, they had their venue booked already. A year in advance. A lot of these independent shows were getting booked. Now they have to stop that. They have to hear where they're going, because a lot of these venues, they all get it years in advance. When WrestleMania gets announced, that's when all these independent shows, that's when Comic-Con, that's when all these places, they start booking the shows a year in advance right for WrestleMania so they could fit it in during that weekend, during that slot. Again, with Vegas doing that, with them having to do that in Vegas, it gives them more money. And, I don't want to say they owe it to Vegas, but, this year's WrestleMania wasn't the expectation. It was. It sucks, though, because, we talk about this a lot, where WrestleMania is their Super Bowl. It is their big show. You can't bring a family to Vegas. You can't bring your 12-year-old son down the strip and make a weekend out of it. Especially if they want to do it on 420 weekend like they did this year. You can't. It's not fun. It's not suitable for families. It's suitable for kids or people like me who are in their early 20s with no real responsibilities in their life to have fun. And I hate to sound like what it is, but you're not. If I had a 12-year-old kid, I wouldn't bring him to fucking Vegas on WrestleMania weekend. It's too much. There's not much to do for us, as a father and so, whatever. It does suck for the overall fan base for WWE. And I'm scared that, this might not be the first of, stuff like this happening. But yeah, I think it's a simple money grab. It's, Vegas offered me more. Let's go. What do you think?
Okay, here's what I'm going to say, Chris. I don't think because of the result of the event, the card, that it wasn't strong. They own that. I think when they said, bring me another Vegas, because they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not just the WWE.
That's what the big
not just
thing
the
is.
WWE, not just TKO. The gambling. The casinos, the tourism, the hotels, the Ubers, drivers, the waitresses, remember one thing that, and I hate to talk about politics when it comes to our channel, our show, although I don't mind saying my thoughts and my opinion. That's my opinion. But remember what they said: no taxes for tips. And that was the current presidency, that Trump's administration. Now, if you have a lot of waitresses, a lot of people coming there, they had over 115,000 just for WrestleMania alone, let alone all those different other places. That means restaurants, doormans, bellhops. They were making money on tips with no taxes. That's a big influence in the economy. That's a big money thing, and who's part of, and again, regardless of the fact that they're not part of the board, they're not part of the company, they're not part of the structure of in and outs day to day, but Linda McMahon is still part of the Trump administration. And, they know what the business aspect does, moves economically. If that's going to help and stimulate the economy where people come for a whole week at WrestleMania. Let's face it, WrestleMania now becomes a week. I think Vegas will generate more money than New Orleans will in a week. People, New Orleans is going to be Bourbon Street. And again, there's no disrespect. And I wish I had Chris the Flash in the chat just to ask him more, because he lives in New Orleans. Is there anything more than just Bourbon Street? Is it just New Orleans? What's around New Orleans that people could do for more than a week? And I would love that from him, because he's there. He's a native. See, if you ask me, what could the people do for a week in Florida? There's beaches. There's Disney World. There's Universal Studios. There's SeaWorld. There's Busch Gardens. There's a lot of different things to do in the state of Florida. Now, in the state of Nevada, for a whole week, you got conventions, you got gambling, you got so many different things around New Orleans, and they might just be vermin. How much more? I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe I don't want to be stereotypical or just with my take. That's why I wanted to ask if Chris is in the chat. If you're listening to us, Chris the Flash, and you have a quick moment in the chat to just tell us, what's around that area, we will really appreciate it, Chris. Because even in April, there's maybe an NBA game, and if the Pelicans are around, but other than that, there's no national hockey, there's no baseball. My point is, there's not much to do there. It's a money thing where Vegas makes sense. Personally, being selfish and honest, we'll love it back in New York, back in Orlando, but anywhere will be yes, Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Chris, you were on I did not open my okay. Chris, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, because Chris is from New Orleans and he's part of this channel. He lives in New Orleans. Other than Bourbon Street, if I'm going to entertain myself for maybe a week, or let's say 4 days for argument's sake, other than the wrestling, what is there for us to do? If we're going to visit your state, besides eat some delicious gumbo and food, it's just food and bourbon. That's all I wanted, without being negative, not without putting down New Orleans either. It's not to be putting it down either, but to compare. I want to make a comparison to Las Vegas, Orlando, London, and so forth. That's all. That was why I brought that up.
No, I agree, and it's just shocking though, because they just had a Super Bowl in New Orleans. They just had the NCAA playoffs in New Orleans. They have a lot of shit going on in New Orleans. I mean, does the unfortunate events? I don't know if they cleaned it up. I don't know what happened. With the New Year's Eve stuff, with the I guess Bourbon Street got blown up or something. I hope, but they still did the Super Bowl and the college. So I don't know. I mean, they do a lot of events. There has to be stuff to do down. That's why I'm curious too.
They have the museum, a big zoo, and the French Quarterly, also the aquarium. So there is stuff there, Chris. You know what? There is stuff. See, that's why I like to ask the question, someone that's there, that lives there, that's there, before we go out there and start talking from the other side of the mouth. We're not without knowing one iota of what's happening. Me personally, if I was take my boys, they're 9 years old, 12 years old. If I'm making 3 to 4 days, besides the convention, personally, I would go check out the aquarium. I will go. Hey, let's go to an aquarium. Let's do something different. Disconnect from wrestling. Go, check out the big zoo. That's the more family things to do. That's what I will do as a family man. As a father of 2 boys, I would go and I would try to seek that if I'm going to be a week or more than 4 days in the city of New Orleans. Also, New Orleans has shown that is able and capable of hosting big events. Like you said the Super Bowl, the NCAA football, basketball tournaments as well. They could hold that there. And of course, with the convention. Let me ask this cynical question and we'll move on to some more wrestling. Talk about the action that's happening. Could it be WWE saying an FU to all the people, all the independent, which is kind of messed up? Because I think the independent shows they piggyback or they feed off of the WWE big events, or even the AEW's big events. They do little independent shows around it in the outskirts to try to draw money. Look, they got to eat too. They got to get money too. So that's
why I felt bad for like Comic-Con and all that stuff, because they book their venues a year in advance. They wait till WrestleMania gets announced and they do all this shit because, again, like I mentioned, they want to get their dates and their venues the same exact weekend as WrestleMania. So I do feel for them because, and again, WWE doesn't give excuse my language, but this is how it is. They don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about us. They care about what's going to make them more money at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate, but that's the reality. And we'll see where it gets announced. I think it's going to be Vegas, but I'd be really shocked if it's anywhere else, especially London. This year.
Chris says, I don't blame you. I can't blame them. Vegas is bigger. I think, to be honest with you, Chris, I'm not going to lie. I think New Orleans is an easier airport to get to. Here's the reason why. If you fly into New Orleans, you can also fly out of Houston, drive also in Arlington. You could drive across the border with a rental car. There's many ways to get there. And I knew, and again, Orlando made a big thing here. They announced that the Breitling train service was going to go from Orlando to New Orleans, 5 hours, or Amtrak, if I'm not mistaken. If it's Breitling or Amtrak, I could be wrong. Could be Amtrak. 5-hour train ride from Orlando Express to New Orleans. So I'm like, ooh, now there's options. I don't have to fly. If I were to go to WrestleMania, which is I could take the train. And 5 hours, relax, get my laptop, take a nap, sleep a little bit, boom, boom, and I'm at New Orleans. So and some people are afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of flying. I love to fly. I would love to, but some people they could take the train. So Orlando was making it, and Orlando has a lot of NXT talent that might be there for stand and deliver and wrestling. And my point was, they made a big announcement. So we're like, wow. I was like, you know what? Damn, everyone's collaborating. And I will say this: if you move location, we better get the match we want. The card better be an A+. That's a different thing from the business aspect.
Absolutely. That's why I didn't bring too much of. That's why I didn't say like, oh, you owe us this shit. No, has nothing to do with that. That could be, a reason why WrestleMania would want to, or Vegas would want to bid for another one. It's all about the money, but that could be a small reason on why Vegas wants to bid for WrestleMania. Maybe that again. I'm not. Yeah, that could be like not even like a 20% factor. A tiny smart part of it could be a part of it. What up, Nate? Shout out for joining, bro. Appreciate it.
All right. So here's my last thing, and we'll move on from the WrestleMania location because we got a lot to talk about. What does that make TKO backing The Rock here when The Rock goes out there and announces New Orleans that they're getting a WrestleMania? I feel bad for Dwayne Rock.
No, so do I.
He's having the worst 2025 of ever because he comes out, he does this faction group with John Cena. He doesn't show up for WrestleMania. WrestleMania is totally disaster night 2 because of his not showing up. Now he mentions New Orleans getting a WrestleMania. Now they change it. Like this guy, I mean, he needs to bury himself under a rock because everything he does, he just looks like 2025 biggest buffoon. And dude, I agree. It's like, imagine The Rock never gets himself involved in the story.
whatever. Or imagine the elimination chamber events took place at WrestleMania. I mean, we'd have a whole different perspective. We wouldn't even be talking about what's going on right now. So I don't know how much of this is on. And again, The Rock's a board of directors. He's on the board. He doesn't have, he's not Ari Emanuel. He doesn't have the final say. But again, we talked about this. Last thing I'll say about it. I don't know. Again, there has to be some type of internal war going on between Triple H and TKO. I just hope The Rock, if it's true, again, I'm not saying it is, if, because that's what people are saying, and I could see it. The Rock, again, I've said this before, I'm a little bit disappointed if The Rock, instead of being that middleman that understands both the business and the wrestling, I don't want him to lean more to just the business instead of helping the wrestling. If that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't think making himself involved wasn't a good thing in the begin with. As much as people wanted it, as much as people thought it'd be cool, he didn't need to be involved at all. Because now he's fucking up. Would you be surprised if John Cena would be a little upset about The Rock right now? Yo, you're making my fucking last heel run, my last ever year heel kind of shitty. Everyone's talking about how you didn't show up instead of talking about my heel run. Just saying. If I'm John Cena, that's how I feel. I'm not saying that's how John Cena feels. I'm saying if I'm John Cena, that's how I feel.
If you was in his shoes, you will feel that.
It's my last year. I'm turning heel for the first time. You are the biggest part of it because I'm aligning with your group, with you. I'm selling my soul to you, and you can't fucking show up at the biggest show of the year. But you can show up to SmackDown a couple weeks before or later to announce a WrestleMania that's now canceled in another city. Get the fuck out of here, man. Bullshit. The Rock shouldn't have been involved with this at all.
Yeah, John Cena. I can see where you could believe how John Cena should feel on that there, and we'll see where that goes. Because right now, we'll find out because it all leads to Saturday night's main event. But before Saturday night's main event, we got Friday night SmackDown. We're going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about Monday Night Raw. It already passed. Monday Night Raw is tonight. So it's been such a week. We already know what happened. So we're not going to rehash that or NXT because we got Battleground. So we'll go right to SmackDown where Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss kicks things off. Again, I like the dynamic with Alexa, Tiffany, and Tiffany held herself strong as a women's champion. Her promo, I'm not going to take too much dissecting that. I just wanted to give Tiffany Stratton her flowers. When she came out of the promo, she came out strong with those two former world champions. So Tiffany is growing and evolving, Chris. I like to see that from Miss Stratton. Yeah,
I agree. Nothing much to add there. I agree. Kind of like what Met said. Met said last week when he joined us for the little segment. I'm not the biggest Tiffany Stratton fan, but she's starting to grow on me. I think that was well said.
Definitely. And then we get some Money in the Bank qualifiers. The first one is got Julia, Charlotte Flair, Zelina Vega. Man, you know what? These triple threats qualifying matches were on point. They were fire. I really enjoyed it. To the surprise, Julia making her SmackDown debut in a qualifying match, nonetheless, with Charlotte Flair and Zelina Vega, your current United States Women's Champion and your former 14-time World Champion. Holy cow. What a match. And Julia comes out looking strong in that match. Right person went and qualified, Chris?
I'd say so. Hopefully, Julia, comes around more. Maybe her and Zelina could have a match for the U.S. title, and she could beat her. But yeah, good. Nothing to complain about. Nothing to add either. It was good. It was solid.
D-Walk in the chat. I wanted to shout you out. Happy holidays.
What up? Happy Memorial Day, man.
We have a match here who was right now. This might go as an underrated match with so much wrestling that we had, and it was a surprising one for me. When I watched it Saturday morning, because I was doing the basketball playoffs and all that stuff, Tommaso Ciampa versus Chris Sabin. A hard-hitting match for Friday Night SmackDown, under the radar, because you see that you're like, I don't know if I can get involved and yada, yada. Back and forth they went. This match was really good. It shows you why Chris Sabin was a former X Division champion, Tommaso Ciampa, former NXT World Champion. Getting in there, they have championship pedigree, and they both could go individually. Having that match there, and I like the way they got that finish with Candice LeRae coming as a distraction. Joining her husband Johnny Gargano would make sense, and continuing that feud. I like the way that match. This felt like
the black and gold days all over again.
Beautiful. It was set up beautifully. Done well. Match was good.
Nostalgia.
The pacing, the timing.
I agree. Yeah, very good. I got some nostalgia from Candice LeRae coming out in a lot. I'm not gonna like I said, DIY reason, but I enjoyed that. I was like, that got me some black and gold nostalgia. I really enjoyed that. And people shit talk Candice like, oh, all these other releases happened, but she's still there. Now she's a part of something with her husband, right? So she's doing something now, so you guys can shut up. Because Candice is fine. Candice is fine. Look, she's not even, up, but she's good at what she gets, whatever she gets with, like whatever they give her, she does a fine job with it. I know what she's capable of. Her black and gold days were fucking phenomenal. She's fine. She'll be just fine. I'm not surprised that she's still with the company. She's great. Not great, but really, really good at what she's given.
Hey, I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her now.
So am I.
Tommaso and Johnny Gargano. I like that trios.
Take her off away from Nia Jax and to have her with this. Yeah. This is more better.
It makes sense. It makes sense, and I like that repackaging or paintbrush that they're gonna put on her. Now we get the Secret Harvest taking on Michin and B-Fab. We seen their match. Selena Vega come in with a run-in distraction. Michin and B-Fab win. They're trying to push B-Fab and Michin into that tag team upper echelon. You know what? I kind of like it. I know people are going to crap on it and say, well, so. Individually, Michin they didn't pull the trigger United States Championship yet.
Which they should have.
B-Fab right now, not ready yet. She's not ready to take that step for championship level. Let them come together. I think they could work. I think they work. This is where I wish WWE would make managers. A manager with those two ladies, a male manager like a Robert Stone will go phenomenal with them, but it's not gonna, but although they're baby faces, I hope that they get that right push. I hope they get the proper TV time where they're going to showcase their talent, because these ladies need time and opportunity, and we have to give it to them. We have to allow it, grant it. We have to be open-minded as male wrestling viewers to give them 10 minutes of time for them to at least win us over. I know there's probably like 75% of people don't want to see these ladies wrestle or don't like them. I'm one of the minority. I'm in the 25 or maybe 10%. I want to see them get time. I wanted them to get ring action and opportunities, because I think they're going to knock it out of the park if they give them the right story. Now it's up to creative to put them in that right position, Chris.
They have the potential to kind of be like a Jade and Bianca. Sort of, you guys have no tag teams for the women's division. You got rid of all of them. This is your time to rebuild it. If you don't think B-Fab, which no disrespect, I don't. I think Michin would have been a hell of a United States champion before Zelina Vega. That's another story for a different day. But I don't think B-Fab's ready. And this is the same thing. It reminds me when they paired up Jade and Bianca together. You saw Bianca's I'm not saying Michin's nowhere close to Bianca, but she's an established veteran in this business. She's been a part of a lot of matches, all companies, whatever. You have B-Fab, who's still developing herself, still needs it. Put them together, give them a tag team title run, break them up, put them together. I mean, you could do literally Jade and Bianca with these two guys, with these two women. I don't have an issue with it. I like Michin. Not that big on B-Fab, but this is an opportunity for her that I think she earns. She, after all the shit with Hit Row being brought back, not trying to pair up with Lashley and Profits, just not working. Hopefully this could be something como se dice, stable for her in the long run, where it's not like just we're gonna try this for a month and then consistent. So they could they could literally run it back with like a Jade and Bianca, do the same exact thing with these two, not a problem.
And
Cena and Tucson tag team. I agree exactly what Chris the Flash just said. perfect. A teacher and student tag team. I love that. Kind of like Natalia and Maxine too. They're another one that's kind of doing that thing right now.
There you go. And that's another tag team right there. That's another one that they're building as a tag team.
Exactly.
I'm invested.
So
They do
yeah.
that.
So I don't mind the B-Fab and Meech and stuff. I don't.
Move on. We move on and we get the first announcement of the Worlds Collide match. We got Legado Fantasma as a family going together. They're trying to convince Humberto to an Angel, and Humberto sits down. They're going to take on Psycho Clown, Hijo de Wagner Jr., and Pagano. So, wow, that's going to be Worlds Collide. If you don't know them, check it out. Those trios, that's going to be a Lucha Libre style match. If you don't like Lucha Libre, then I'm sorry. I think everyone does like Lucha Libre, because if you watch the other company, All Elite Wrestling, they integrate Lucha Libre style wrestling. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good. It's going to be good. Lucha Libre is fun. It's part of our culture. It's part of one of the roots of wrestling. That's going to be a hell of a match. The first match was announced there. I'm excited. I want to see. Don't know much. I know a little bit about those wrestlers, but don't know exactly their whole story. No, but I know they're going to put on a banger. I know what Legado Fantasma, I know what Santo Escobar brings watching them in NXT. Humberto and Humberto, they're going to be extra geared up going up against their.
Who do they announce El Hijo to go up against? El Hijo de
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. That's going to be a banger. That's going to be a banger. I kind of wish Chad was El Grande Americano for this one. That's the only thing. I kind of wish he would have put on the mask for that one, but while we're on the subject,
I think El Grande Americano has a match too.
Oh yeah,
has a match at Money in the Bank.
Oh, he's not having one at AAA.
I don't know. I think I don't know. Who knows where the Grande shows up? The Grande is so Grande.
True. Yeah, no, but seriously, Chad Gable and El Hijo Vikingo is going to be a really good match too. Different style, completely different styles. El Hijo, because Chad's not going to do the bullshit. El Hijo is going to do it. Chad's going to let El Hijo do it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
I love a match. And then we get a match here. Here is this one. Uncharacteristic pairing, but you know what? When I saw them come out in the back, I kind of felt the chemistry, and I kind of felt like, yo, they make a nice team. I'm talking about Rey Fénix and Jimmy Uso. They come out, they going up against Jacob Fatu and JC Matero, formerly known as
I'm never calling him that. I'm calling him Jeff Cobb forever.
All right. That's why you see how I set my partner up? I always set him up for
I'm never calling him that bullshit.
Jeff Cobb, so JC Mateo. But you know what? It shows that Jimmy Uso is a hell of a wrestler. He teamed up with Rey Fénix. Those movesets that they were doing together, setting up Fénix for to dive over the top ropes. They worked. This was a really good match. SmackDown Underrated was a really good show.
Yes, this is one of the better SmackDowns they've had in fucking weeks, man. Since the Street Profits ladder match, that was probably the last time SmackDowns actually felt like a SmackDown. And like Priest and Damian, you know what I'm saying? Like Priest and Damian are still having their things. Even, I mean, that was before Saturday Night's main event, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was. I'm speaking as if Saturday Night main event hasn't happened yet. So they're still doing their own thing. So yeah, since that Street Profits show, this SmackDown has really felt like good since then. Before that, it was just long and dragged out for some segments. Go ahead.
And then you saw, can they coexist between Jeff Cobb, aka Mateo, and Jacob, where, you know, tagging in each other and that stare down, and then they seem to coexist at the end post-match. You see the celebration of Fatu and Mateo, which seems they were at ease there. So, of course, here's the funny part. Everyone's sick and tired of LA Knight taking on the Bloodline, and then what they do, they go back to the backstage, and he's like, nah. And he didn't want to see no more blood. I was like, yo, I'm with you. I don't want to see no more Bloodline in LA Knight. Get that arrest. Go agree. Somewhere else.
They've been doing that shit since like Two Crown Jewels. They've been doing that shit since like 2 Crown Jewels ago.
I mean, come on, give me something different. You know, hey, give me something different here. You got a large promo in the back. R2 talking about John Cena's childhood hero, setting up that Saturday night's main event matchup and that monologue, which was great. I got me invested there. We're going to a little fast forward because we got a lot more wrestling to cover. The final, another men's qualifier match: Aleister Black, Shinsuke Nakamura, and LA Knight. Earlier in the day, I know our guy Jay. Jay was talking about he wanted to see Aleister Black win. He should win. What are your thoughts? He asked, I put that on the call, and I tweeted at him, LA Knight wins this. And LA Knight does take that match. I thought the match was really good because Aleister just got back. He's just feuding with Carmelo and The Miz. That hasn't wrapped up. LA Knight, regardless of the fact if United or not want him, he's still hot by the crowd. You hear the crowd still doing a yeah. He gets the monster chant. You're not gonna have Nakamura go to the Money in the Bank. He was there to take the pin, and he did take the pin. And by the way, great match. Aleister continues to work very well. Still not getting the reaction that he should be getting. Although with his entrance when he comes in, it's like something's missing from Aleister Black. There's something there, like something. I don't know what it is. He's missing. There's something not clicking with the fans or with you gravitating to him. I don't know what it is. Doesn't mean he's not totally botched, but he's getting opportunities, getting TV time.
Yeah, I mean,
which is good. I don't know where we go for Aleister, but LA Knight qualifies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we go from Aleister Black either. I've been watching Aleister Black even when he was with House of Black and AEW. Just feels like he's not doing anything different except being in a trios. So I hate to say it, but I like Aleister. I like Aleister. I do, but what the fuck's Miro gonna do too? Feud with Otis when he comes? Like, what are these guys doing? Like Andrade, he hasn't done shit. Like, how am I supposed to get reinvested back in the guys that come back? They're not doing shit.
Speaking of Andrade, he'll be in next week in a triple threat matchup. It's going to be Jacob Fatu.
Woo! Oh, he's going to lose. There, done.
And Andrade.
Jacob Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade. That's going to be a really good triple threat match. And especially with Melo and Andrade, with them having their series, going to be a banger. Banger incoming.
All three of those men in that ring. We also get a promo vignette. My girl. Bianca Belair's return.
Yep. Yes. She'll be back next week. Yep. I knew you were excited for that one.
She don't need to be on her own. She don't need to be against the wall. She be coming for me at all. Let's go. She'll returning.
Be there. She'll be there. Now look. I need her. I need her to get in that ring and finally talk about the Jade and Bianca situation. Jade and Naomi. That's what she has to do. They've dragged it off since Summer's Elimination Chamber. You lost your match at WrestleMania. Let's go. Now's the time. Jade versus Bianca. Fucking build it up. Let's go. Or Naomi, you weren't on my side. Or Jade, you weren't on my. Jacob, you weren't on my. What? Let's go. Let's go. Give it to me.
Then her promo vignettes that she's gone through so much and she's been down, losing her first WrestleMania match, getting her finger injured, losing her best friend,
losing her first WrestleMania match. Exactly. She's never lost.
She said it on that promo. Yep. So she mentioned that, so she's coming with a different mindset. So I kind of want to see.
She's gonna be badass and heel. Yeah, finally. Hopefully. If she feuds with like Naomi, she can't. But if she feuds with Jade, yeah, she can. Yes, she can. I'm excited.
Speaking of that, we also get another women's qualifier, Bang Girl in one match. You got Jade versus Naomi versus Nia Jax. Now, Jax and Naomi, they got a little bit of their bloodline, their family members there. A little bit of a, I don't know. Jade, this is where Bianca might come in and you think she's gonna help Jade, but bam, the turn there or whatever. It's your fault. Since you came to this company, I lost this, that. I don't know. I'm just saying that could be.
Now people think that you're my replacement. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm showing you who Bianca Belair is. I'm the one and only. You're not gonna come into this company and try to be me. Let's go. Book it. Let's go. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Whatever happens, it's gonna be good.
There's going to be a lot of people's feelings hurt, but I think that might be happening. That could be happening. Here's a great match.
Look, people want real quick. People have wanted this match since Jade has rumored to come to WWE. I don't want to hear anybody bitching when it happens.
It's true. That's true. That's true, and you know what I told you about SummerSlam? That's going to be
It's
treated
the
like
biggest
the WrestleMania.
Yep, exactly.
You know, I've said that. All right, main event time: Street Profits versus Fraxium. Now, Fraxium 4-0, no waves in the WWE on the main roster. They get a title shot against the Street Profits. Hell of a match, back and forth. You know, two of the top WWE tag teams in not just in professional wrestling. Fraxium, you know, they're one of the best. They're the best. One of not the best tag team in all of professional wrestling.
No, they're the best tag team.
Behind
Yeah,
ABC
absolutely.
Before Chris Bay got injured.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course, you know, we could debate it, but from my eyes, you know, I
agree 100% with you. Nope, I agree. I had ABC,
but
Fraxium, and I thought the Hardys were still pretty good at a level 2. Those were my 3 tag teams right now in all of wrestling.
I had an AEW tag team up there too. I'm gonna not too much. I don't find FTR to be so wow. I hate to
they just have really good matches. That's all they do. They put on incredible matches. Yeah,
they have good chemistry. They're like a Motor City Machine Guns.
Exactly.
You know, they're anchors and pillars to a tag team vision where you can't go wrong. They're stable. They're that's just me. But we'll get to the tag team. We're going right here to the main event. Speaking of the Motor City Machine Guns, during the match, all chaos breaks out. You get the Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa comes out. Also, the Machine Guns, all chaos. Candice LeRae out there. All of a sudden, the lights show glow off. Oh my goodness! Lights come on. The Wyatt 6 is back. Your thoughts?
Please, I mean, first let's. I'm going to talk about the actual segment. I thought it was beautiful. Coming out, I was a big fan of the Wyatt 6's reveal. I was a big fan of that. I talked really positive about it. My only thing is this, as it was beautiful, ending the show, blowing out the candle, Bray Wyatt's birthday, loved it. Now, don't make these guys just do this and have them disappear like they just did. They didn't come back in mask. They came back with faces. So maybe this is a little bit of a different Wyatt 6. I'm just curious on what they're gonna do after. Like they give us great moments, and if with them honoring Bray, the shit that they do is fucking. It's awesome. I love it. I love the tributes. I love all of it. Now, what's next for them? What are they gonna feud? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna? It's just those things I'm curious for. But I thought this was a beautiful ending to SmackDown. It really was.
All right. This is a hot take. I'm totally opposite.
Oh, okay.
When I saw the Wyatt 6 came out, I couldn't give a shit. I said, I don't care. I don't care anymore. You debuted him. No, you debuted him in July because it was the anniversary of Bray in the wrestling ring. Whatever, it was an anniversary where I totally was here and I was totally against it, disagree with it. I said you should have waited for them to come out September into October, because if they were doing that spooky, cold, creepy, supernatural stuff, debut around Halloween. You could have done it around Halloween Havoc, whatever. You're in the spirit. People are in the spirit of the Halloween holiday and stuff. You could have made a lot of money. People would have been invested, but they messed it up. They did it too early. They did it in July to August. That was strike one. Then strike two, you bring them in, and then I tried defending it because Dave LaGreca immediately with Bubba we were tearing it down from the minute they walked in. They were this is terrible, that's garbage. If they're so menacing and they killed Gorilla, why did they come out through the Gorilla the following week or coming in through now they walk through the Gorilla position like nothing when they destroyed it the first time? They should have came to the crowd and all that. I'm like, stop being critical. But I hate to say it, they were kind of blind.
I agree because I agree. I don't want to cut you off, but I agree with 100% because I didn't look last night. If you're asking me how I felt last night, that's what I mean. It was a beautiful ending. It was a beautiful tribute that last night. But you're talking about the overall Wyatt 6. I fucking agree with you 100%. and I've gotten some shit for saying it, but it's everything you're saying, I've said it, and I agree 100%. The overall presentation, the overall Wyatt 6. Again, what the fuck have they done, and what are they gonna do? Nothing. Nothing. Again. That's why I keep saying, if we're talking the specifics, they do beautiful stuff, honoring Bray. I love it. Overall, it's not much. They're not going to do shit but that. You know what I'm saying? And how long are you going to? How long are you going to keep up that? How long are you going to keep up that tribute gimmick? How long without doing much? Again, it might sound fucked, but that's just honestly how I feel about it. The overall Wyatt 6.
That's why when you said I couldn't care a shit, and then by the end at the end of that segment happened, you know what I felt after I saw it ended? I was mad. I was pissed off. Instead of getting I don't care, I got mad. Because you're telling me you only brought the Wyatt 6 out there to blow a birthday candle, which is okay. But you now what? You're gonna put him in the closet and disappear? So when is next? When Bray Wyatt, when the anniversary of something else, you're gonna bring him out again?
Exactly.
That's the way I felt.
Exactly. No, I agree.
That's why I was
exactly
mad.
What you're saying.
That's why I felt pissed off. Like, oh, so now you're bringing him for a tribute for the moment, right? Because tell me, how is it gonna make sense? There's what? It's Uncle Howdy, Pepper Pig. You got Sam Shaw, and you've got the other one. You got 4 of them. They're tag team division. There's 4. So what they're gonna go? So what happens? And Big Red. So what happens? 2 of them are gonna be going for the tag team titles. And now, if they were free agents, where 2 of them could go for one set of tag teams and the other 2 could torment the other set of tag teams, I could understand. But it doesn't make sense to me. It was just you were forcing, which is nothing wrong at some degree, but it kind of pissed me off because you didn't do anything all that time at all with them. And now because you have a freaking you're gonna blow a candle at the end of the show when you didn't have you didn't care about them, but then you remembered you're playing with emotional of the hearts of the fans and you're playing them for fools. I don't like that. You use those talents or you don't use those wrestlers. That's my point.
Nope, I agree because there's a lot of people that want to see the Wyatt 6 on TV. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, Bray Wyatt had such a big fucking fan base that, like, and rightfully so, of course. I love this work too, but that's the problem. And I agree with everything you're saying. You're gonna have him, or you're gonna have his fucking brother in the back. But you're gonna bring him out every time there's that doesn't sit well to me because this just means that's what it feels like. That just feels like Bo's being used to honor his brother. Look, I'm gonna say it right now. I don't like that. You can have that, absolutely. You can, everybody, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're bringing him back solely for anniversary, I have a problem with that. Like Kev alluded, I agree with everything. Kev is not wrong. I agree with everything he's saying. I have nothing to add. They got it. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck are they gonna do? Are they gonna do anything after this? Are we gonna see him next week? Or are we'll have to wait a month to see him? Like, it's not fair.
I've got strike 2 on this already. I'm giving them because here's the one thing. Here's another thing that saved a little, and people think it might be a saving grace. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There's a backstage promo with Alexa Bliss talking to Lily, where she's interrupted by Charlotte. Who are you talking to? Talking to her, and showed the doll. The doll Lily's still around. I don't know if they're gonna bring Alexa part of that group, but then if Alexa's with that group, then what? That's my problem. Then what, Chris? What? Then what?
That feels even more like. Look, a lot of people want Alexa Bliss added. I don't.
Okay, fair.
I don't because how do I explain it? Like, Nikki Cross is in that group, is the female of that group.
Okay.
You don't like. They shouldn't remake like the whole family friendly funhouse shit. Like that's what it. Like if you see those masks and the masks that like Dexter Loomis wears and like Joe Gacy, like it aligns to the Funhouse fireplace thing. I don't want to see that again. I'm sorry. There's no way in hell I want to see it with the Lily. That's what it's gonna remind me strictly of that. And again, we are talking about a group that is there to honor a wrestler. Bringing the wrestler's former part. I mean, that she's going to take over. No one's going to give a shit about anybody else or anything else. They're going to care about Alexa because she was part of that Bray Wyatt story. Like, I don't know if this is good for the group or for Alexa as well. With her coming back and her, I said she should be that little Miss Bliss. So, with the 2017 when SmackDown Live, she had she was the goddess. Like, she was amazing on the mic. Like, she was a heel, and I don't want her to get drawn, bring her back just to fall into the same place that she was when she was in the company with Bray. Now Bray's not there. You're gonna put it. I don't think it does good for both. It doesn't do good for the Wyatt Six or her, in my opinion.
It might be a hot take with other people watching the video. I'm agreeing with you, but maybe there's a few that won't agree with that. And again,
that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Please let us know in the comment section. We want feedback. This is a two-way talk. Chris is giving us feedback. Everyone's watching. We almost 800 people watching. We need some feedback. Don't just be a spectator, be a participant.
No, and I'm not saying this isn't a. I know a lot of people like to rely on hot takes. No, I'm not doing that. We're not doing this. This is simply how I feel. We're talking about it. The Wyatt Six hasn't been brought up. They haven't been on TV, so we haven't talked about it. Now that they're brought up, talking about it. So again, I love it. I love what they did last night. The tributes. I love that. It's just how many times are you going to do this without me not giving a shit, like me wanting to give a shit about the future, but you're just doing. It's an interesting situation when they got over there with the Wyatt Six. Hopefully they could thing on the Wyatt. Yeah, go ahead, brother, because I got nothing else to add on that.
No, my final thing is, okay, once the lights go off, the scariness or the piano eerie, they come in, the lights go on, they take their mask, then what? What story are you going to tell me? Are you going to do it at every wrestler you're going to wrestle then? Probably. Every feud? When does it get when you start rolling your eyes? Especially the way this IWC flip-flops more than a pancake.
Yeah.
So that's my thing that worries me. I agree, not the right time for Bliss to join. She has something to prove, to show.
No, and like my thing is this, and this is another thing, right, Kev? Like, I don't know if I'm, just trying to find something else to critique or whatever. It seemed like to you, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte were mutually, they seemed cool with each other, right? With her calling her the queen, all this stuff. What the fuck were the last 2 or 3 weeks of television for? With her and Charlotte, with her and Charlotte feuding. What the fuck? You wasted 2 weeks of television, 3 weeks of television for Charlotte and Alexa, and now they're cool, just like that, of a backstage segment. That bothered me too, Kev. I'm not doing it again. We'll see, but that didn't make sense to me. You guys have been going at each other's necks for 3 weeks. Oh yeah, you're the queen. Now I was like, whoa, what? Like you're giving her respect. Like, we'll see.
All right, we'll see on that. That was SmackDown. SmackDown overall was a real good show. We'll go to Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, it was a good show.
From Tampa, Florida, Saturday night's main event. Of course, Jesse the Body Ventura and Joe Testatone. I have a thing to say about Jesse the Body Ventura.
I was just gonna bring that up to you, brother. I saw your little rant on Jesse Ventura, brother. Go off.
I'm gonna start with this first.
Go ahead.
Jesse Body Ventura, the nostalgia. Listen, it brings me a lot of warm feelings, childhood memories. Jesse the Body Ventura in the 80s. On commentary, as a young kid watching it, all that good stuff, grandfather, all that great childhood memories. But when you're out there on Saturday night's main event, I think WWE, after season 1 here, after the final main event, Saturday night's main event of the first year in the books, don't bring him back. They do us a favor, do not bring him back, or do not allow him to be on the commentary live. He could be on the panel, on the post if you want, with just Joe Tessitore, and he can still do his crazy stuff, but he's got to know his facts. Talking about not walking through the cage, and I post the video. He's telling the big boss man, go through the cage is the easy way out. And then he's out there critiquing and putting down Damian Priest for going through the table. I understand he's supposed to garner that heat of a heel, but then to say, not even remember the rule, and he's old, but to say that's not the rule, the cage, you don't win by walking through the cage or onto the floor. Yes, you do. In WWE rules, you do. You climb over the cage, you go right through the door, you get a pin or submission. Look, back in the day, it was just, you had to just leave the cage. There was no pinfall submission. It was two guys going at it, and the first one to get out of the cage won. So the rules are circumvented. Yes, it's wrestling, yada, yada, but he can't go out there spewing nonsense and putting down Damian Priest. It felt like it to me. You know what I felt like? It felt like he hated the Hispanic guy out there. It just felt like that. Maybe I'm oversensitive, but I felt like he hated Damian Priest.
I was a little. No, I didn't have the. When I was watching it, I was doing some. I had power tools running up, so I didn't get to actually watch the full commentary or listen to the full commentary. But that part I saw from your post, and that yeah. Again, you have got to know your stuff when you're commentating, because when he said that, I was like, I can literally name you 3 matches right now that have ended with, or at least tried. You know the recent steel cage match they had in Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
Who tried to go out the fucking door? Seth. And he was pulled out. He was pulled out by Roman. I mean, come on. This has been happening. This has been going on for so long with the steel cage. It's been going on since I was like middle school with the steel cages coming out. You can leave the steel cage to the door to come out. It doesn't happen, but it is a rule that you are allowed to do, and people have tried it, going out of the ring, and then either somebody pulls them back or they. So, again, I like what Jesse brings to the commentary. He gives that, again, I'm not old school, but for somebody who's young and, likes the old school stuff, I appreciate it. But, again, he can get a little bit, like, he'll say things like when Cole's trying to get a word or Pat, he'll just, like, he'll just, like, he's a hater. That's what it is. But that's what he's kind of known for, so.
That's fine. I like the heel.
I do too. I do too. It's just not knowing.
Like
again, it's just that you gotta know. You have to be a heel that knows what you're talking about. Yeah, that just felt like very hating. That just felt like he was hating.
He was hating. He was just hating on. I felt uncomfortable with him talking the way he hated on Damian Priest. Like, yo, what is it? It felt like Damian Priest owes him some money or something with the hate he had on there. I was like, my goodness. I mean. It felt awkward for him again. I like him with Tessitore on the platform. I can't have him on the live play-by-play, especially when you're on national television, because you could see Tessitore's face. He puts that look like cringy look in his eyes. Don't know what the hell that man's gonna say.
Trust me, I listen to that guy on college football, and I watch the UFL sometimes when I'm bored out of my mind. And he does the commentary for the UFL. Yeah, he's a little interesting on play-by-play for everything he does. But he's a big name. He's Joe Tessitore. People know who he is. So,
but he looked like he was uncomfortable with Ventura talking.
He did.
You didn't know what that. He didn't know what to expect or how.
Even the first Saturday Night Lights main event. The first time, I believe it was one of the first watch-alongs I ever joined on this channel that I was a part of. Yeah. But that Saturday Night Lights main event, Joe I said it back then in November, the very first one. Joe does not want to be next to Jesse right now, bro. Because he's like, because Jesse's going and Joe's like,
yeah.
And then okay, and then he's like every fight, like, are you gonna say that? Like, you even had to see him
body language.
Yeah, exactly, perfectly said. Yep.
The body language shows that he's cringe, or he's like, what is this man going to say? Because it could ruin my career. And that's what I think Joe Tessitore. He's new to this wrestling industry, into the in here, and with this man could spew something stupid over national televised, and instead of the spotlight could go, oh, it's Joe Tessitore and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
when meanwhile,
exactly, because Jesse's one of the guys that he don't give a fuck. Like he's old. He doesn't need WWE or Saturday Night's main event. He's probably there just because of the nostalgia. He doesn't even like WWE. They're paying him. I mean,
Yeah. He's there for the paycheck. He doesn't really.
he's there
give
for
a
the
crap
paycheck.
about
He hates it. He doesn't like it. No, dude. But like again, what if they do something stupid like if they show a vignette of Hulk Hogan and then Jesse Ventura says something out of pocket because of his hatred during Hulk Hogan?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, haven't you noticed they never brought?
I remember when that doofus. I tried to start the union back in then, and you can like, oh no, this isn't gonna be good. It's one of those things where like, you ever have that friend that just has no filter, and you're like, oh god, he's like when he like, oh, he's gonna say something stupid, not ready for it. Yep, there it is. Like that's what it feels like sometimes with them.
Yeah, and that's what, and I think they're in pins and needles. Personally, finished the obligation of the year, the first year, season 1 of Saturday Night's Main Event, this retool here. And if Jesse, thank you, appreciate it. We can't have you on the live TV. We'll keep you on the platform. If he doesn't like it, hey, thank you so much. I'm pretty sure they could bring Jimmy. Listen, at 81 years old, I have
Jimmy Hart. Yep, Jimmy Hart.
Hart.
I mean, even him though, I don't think he would get a good reaction.
Hey, look, he was the reason why they booed Hulk Hogan in LA because of Jimmy Hart, brother.
Yeah,
it's all your fault, Jimmy. That's what Hogan said. It was all his fault that I got booed in LA.
It was probably because I came out with Jimmy. No, Pat McAfee. He said it. He was like, because something with Jimmy. I was like, well, me and Jimmy got some heat too. Like, I was like, this had nothing to do with Jimmy Hart, dude. Jimmy Hart probably got heat because he was with you, not the other way around.
But hey, listen, some people like to see Ventura. I like seeing Ventura, yes, but when until he opens his mouth. That's just me.
There are a lot of people feel that way, bro. Even not just with the wrestling shit.
Saturday
He's a politician too.
Yes, Saturday Night's Main kicks off with Rollins, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, CM Punk. Hell of a match. It didn't go what we expected, and we said, and I was with Chef Dan doing a watch along. Yeah. And when this match finished, we were like, if you said you saw who was coming out to join Seth Rollins, you were a bull-faced liar because no one had Bronson Reed coming out and align himself with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker coming out and interfering, tsunami CM Punk. The aftermath, the winner, Rollins and Braun Breaker. I love the fact that Big Bronson Reed was under the radar and he joins them. Everybody says, oh, how could he join Seth Rollins? And after he took Seth Rollins out and took him out, because if you're Seth Rollins and you're building a faction and you took the brunt of all those tsunamis, wouldn't you want to have him as an ally? You felt the power and the authority of the Big Bronson Reed. Wouldn't you try to recruit and bring him on your side, an ally? You know, go up against a Jacob Fatu, you know, or a JC Mateo now. You know, you got a Braun Breaker, but you still need another heavy artillery. Smart move by Seth Rollins if he recruited, or the wise man who recruited injuring Big Bronson Reed. Now, if Big Bronson Reed goes and I say the bloodline ask her, hey, why you joined them and you left us? We brought you in at the War Games. You guys never called me when I got hurt. You guys totally abandoned me when I got hurt. No one checked up on me. But Rollins or the wise man made the phone call to check up on me. Just a simple explanation. If you're a person at home, you're like, yo, it's true. Yo, if you hurt and you're injured and no one calls and that one person that does and checks up on you, you know you're gonna look at that person with favor. Be like, damn, he really checked up on me when I was down and hurt. Meanwhile, these folks, they didn't give a crap about me. I'm telling you, Chris, it could work. The explanation is right there. For people to say, oh, is that going to work?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people. We had a conversation off air about it. Opened up my mind to another perspective about it. Yeah, you know, I'll say this because I was one of those people that me and Kev talked on here. I was like, why would Bronson join? I don't mind it. You know, now that I had a couple days to sit on it, even rewatched the show. I like it. It's cool because now the bloodline has Jeff Cobb as kind of like the Bronson Reed of their group. Like Kev said, it's always about, you know, maybe the wise man called him. They could always play that. And, you know, with Bronson Reed giving the tsunamis to CM Punk, that was probably like, hey, you did the tsunamis to me. Now you got to do it to CM Punk. Take him out the same way you took me out. I hate CM Punk. I hate him more than I hate you. So just join. I don't hate you that much. I hate you more. I hate Punk more. So help me, whatever. Probably some you scratch my balls, we'll scratch your balls type of thing.
Hey, that's right.
I don't mind it. I think at first I didn't hate it at first. I was just curious, like, okay, maybe they can give me an explanation on Monday Night Raw, whatever. But I like that. Again, they probably will too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name drop Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful crying and complaining, saying that there was no third man ever. Just because they didn't tell you that doesn't mean it's true. There's always going to be a fucking third man. If you watch the show instead of sitting on your ass and trying to collect dirt sheets for engagements and profits, and instead of if you actually sit down and watch the show, you would know that there was going to be another third person. This shit was not complete. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in a fourth person. I mean, Come on, guys. Just because you guys don't get shit thrown at you. But they changed it last minute. This was never the plan. Shut the fuck up. They weren't going to bring Bronson Reed back like that in that type of fashion if it wasn't the plan. Give me a break.
Hey, you're right. Maybe they want to crap on it because they didn't say it was Sami Zayn. And if it was Sami Zayn, you see, we told you, so predictable.
No, exactly.
Lazy storytelling. Lazy storytelling.
Like, if you want to crap on it, like, again, Kev just gave a counter reason, because I'm one of those people that said the same thing. Why is Bronson Reed... Again, if that's your reason, and you're still not opening your eyes after the reason that Kev gave you, fine. That's better than you getting pissed off about, it's predictable, or Sami Zayn, like, Sami Zayn's heel now, at least it's better than that. Don't complain. Don't complain, because it's not what I liked. It's not what I thought was going to happen, but... sit on it, wait for it. Like, again, not all stuff is like sit on it, wait for it, but this is because, again, War Games is coming up.
That too. They're building to it for months ahead. And also, look, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I had no idea that Bronson Reed was going to come out. I was like, I was genuinely surprised and very pleasantly surprised. I'm like, yo, Bronson and Braun Breaker on the same group, nice. That's nice right now.
And you saw that. And you saw that at the end where, like, Braun's like, do I want to shake this guy's hand? Do I not?
Yes.
That kind of makes him, like, there's, it could be that thing where it's like
Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu type of can they get along?
But the difference is Bronson Reed and Braun will get along. And that's going to call it. And if they do want to do something with, like, War Games, they're getting along. We gotta fucking get along. Like, we gotta do this for the family, for the bloodline. There's so many ways they could do.
There's so many storylines, too many tentacles in storylines. Now, it's up to creative. Now, just because we're saying it and they don't do it the way we say it, this was terrible. No. I'm gonna sit back and
we're just throwing it out there on what they could do.
Yeah, and there's so many room to improve. And I'm glad, Sami Zayn didn't turn the heel, because maybe Sami Zayn turns on Jey Uso for the world title later down the road, where he just says, enough, I tried this baby face.
I think that's what's going to happen. Kev, I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to get fed up with more. Yeah, he's going to get fed up with, I'm sick and tired. Look, I don't like you, Sami Zayn, but I'm going to be on your side. What you could do is, I'm so sick and tired of being the middle guy. I was the middle guy for the Paul Heyman and CM Punk stuff. It ended up causing me rivalry tension with one of my best friends in this business, who I've carved my teeth with, and Seth Rollins. It made our friendship go back. It made me and Jey Uso were brothers with the bloodline. Now the tribal chief is coming back into my life, confusing me. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm always the middleman. I'm always the bitch. Like, now I'm coming for, like, I'd actually start cheering for Sami Zayn if that shit happened.
That could be later down the road. It doesn't have to be now. The heel turn could be later.
No. That's why I like that they didn't do Sami Zayn, because this makes more sense rather than him turning and lining himself up. I mean, that would have made sense too. But again, this makes more sense because I don't think he should be aligned with anybody. If Sami Zayn's going to be a heel, he should be a straight up heel by himself. Because who can he trust? Yeah. He can't trust the bloodline. Yeah. He can't trust Jay. He can't trust Seth. Who can he trust? Now I think he should be heel on his own.
Fair. Because also listen, if even if he were to turn and align himself for Seth Rollins, how's he going to be world champion when Rollins wants that title? You can't have two guys.
You can't. No, because what does Paul Heyman say every single day? The championship that belongs to Seth freaking Rollins. Exactly.
Not Sami Zayn. And if Sami Zayn joins them, Sami Zayn wants the world title.
They're all getting Bronson, Braun. Funny enough, when I said Bronson, I was thinking Braun Breaker at first. No, Bronson and
that's his
Braun,
real name, by the way.
That's exactly why that's exactly why I
on
said
the watch
that.
and I'm calling him Brunson.
That's exactly why I said that, because his name's Bronson Steiner. That's exactly why I said, like, I had to rethink. No, Bronson Reed and Big Braun Breaker, they're going to help Seth get the title. So it's not this works out because it's not like I'm not like Sami Zayn, whether I like him or not, he's a big star on Monday Night Raw. He's in that world title scene. So you don't want to have you want Sami and Seth to eventually collide to go after it. So with two guys that aren't world championship material yet, even though Braun Breaker is a future WrestleMania main eventer.
Oh yeah.
They're not at that level yet. So with those guys helping Seth, they're gonna get to that level. It's gonna be good for all three guys involved.
And for Big
Bronson Reed and who knows, bro? They could get tag team gold. They can each get gold. Now this faction will be in gold. Yep.
That's what I was gonna say. Tag team titles are in play for Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker later down the road. Not right away. Don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush it. We will see how that goes for that. I like that. I love it. I love this group coming together. Let's go to the next match where it getting a lot of heat, a lot of slack, a lot of irony, a lot of negativity. United States Women's Champion. Last minute they added this match: Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green. The match was a pretty good match, but one spot has put a total blemish on the match. Was the 619 that was not completed well by Zelina Vega, where prompted her to throw an extra kick and busted the nose of Chelsea Green.
That was bad.
That 619 was terribly executed, but here's the one thing. I always like to take a positive out of a huge negative. Chelsea Green coming out of that match, the aesthetics, the picture, or her backstage with her with the busted nose. Look, nothing should happen to that beautiful face of Chelsea Green. But you know, Matt Cardona, to respect to you. But it made her look even more of a badass because Selena hits her with that cold red off the top rope. She loses the match, but in loss, everyone is crapping on poor Selena, how her mistake. But I think the legend of Chelsea Green just got elevated even more with that image of her bleeding, busted nose, and wanting her revenge. Now you even have more of a reason to run it back. Everyone's like, we got to see this match again. Now you even have a better reason because of the busted nose. Now it's personal. Now you have even more to continue this feud because of that 619 mistake. So out of a negative, instead of going and hating, botch, this is why women's wrestling should be on. Bullshit. Because this is the reason why women's wrestling gets intrigued. You could make a negative out of a positive. And the positive is now Chelsea's could now really get the backpack and get elevated. And this could even catapult her to world title picture. Even if she, because of that busted nose, persevering and totally hell bent now. She could just take her viciousness or her aggressiveness to another level, and it's warranted because I got my nose busted. So I like it. I'm gonna take a positive out of a negative on this. For Selena, hey, she had a hell of a qualifying match the night before. Shit happens with the 619s. It gets a little whatever. Look, just don't let it happen again.
I'm not gonna shit on it. The 619 spot, I mean, that's not really her move. I just think she did it. Rey Mysterio's her guy, whatever. I don't care about the 619 spot. I didn't think the match was as bad as you people are making it to seem. I do think they added this match because we don't have a card with no women's wrestling on it, which I don't care. I don't have an issue with women's wrestling. I don't. I support it. I have my favorites. I have the people I don't like. But I think they added this match because people, they need a women's match. There's no women's matches, and they threw it on. But if that is the case, at least they gave us a championship match, a women's championship match. It wasn't just two women going out there and doing bullshit. It wasn't bad. The botch wasn't as great. The match probably wasn't as great either, but it could set up something else in the future. And, you know, it didn't take that long, which is the best thing. It didn't take that long.
Exactly.
If this would have went a little longer, might have been a different conversation. But it didn't go longer. It was fine. Again, my only negative, they added this match because you guys online were complaining that there was no women's matches. That's how I think.
Fair. I want to shout out Alex Gabby. What's going on, Alex?
Gabby, what up?
It was a solid match. I didn't even notice the botch 619 because it was a little kick that cracked Chelsea. Yeah, because she came up short and then she threw the leg just to complete.
Yeah, she spun like the way she spun was really like it was slow, and then you saw the kick, so it looked the timing of it was a little off. If you we noticed it, but other people might not have. Which if you did it, fuck, that's even better, right?
Right.
We noticed it because we do this shit, but like, and we rewatch it because we do this shit. But like, if you didn't catch it, that's good. That's even better. Maybe you're only figuring out because we're telling you guys it right now that it happened. So
could be too. Fair. Now after that match, we saw bloody Chelsea Green. WWE they make the announcement. Evolution is returning. Evolution is returning July 13th, Sunday from the Atlanta, Georgia, I believe it's State Farm Arena.
State Farm, the same arena they did Bad Blood.
Okay, so they're gonna have the Evolution 2 all women's pay-per-view on a Sunday night in a long weekend. We'll talk about that at the end of the or close to the end.
That's gonna be I'm not ready for that weekend. Holy shit! All in Saturday night main event. There's probably gonna be NXT North American Bash.
Great American Bash.
They're gonna go head to head with All In. Watch it. And I'm gonna be fucking pissed because I'm gonna probably have to do what I did last night. Double watch. But that was fun. That was awesome.
I thought it was gonna be chaotic. I'm just looking around and some input and some crazy stuff has been going on recently. Got a lot of big moments. Yes, this weekend we had a lot of big moments there. Let's continue here. We're going to talk about Great American Bash as well. It's going to be announced as well as Saturday night's main event and Evolution. So it's a long weekend in Atlanta. So if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, if you're in Florida and you want to take your drive 6 hours from Orlando to Georgia, get ready, fill up the gas tank, get your tickets, get your stuff. Tickets will be going on sale soon, and it'll be a nice weekend. That's after the 4th of July weekend, so that's going to be a fun one.
Right after the 4th of July weekend.
We get to R-Truth versus John Cena. Now, John Cena came out first to like, wow, we were shocked. Why is Cena coming out first? And then it was a weird night with the entrances. Then we get Ron Truth comes out. My goodness. Ron Cena. I loved it. He came out to John Cena's music. He came out with the art. That was great. This match, we all knew it was predictable, but the match was so fun. I mean, R-Truth doing the hits back and forth. He was trying to come. It felt like the Star Wars movie, the not Empire Strikes Back, the First Order, where Kylo Ren and Han Solo, where Kylo Ren wants to turn to the dark, to the light, to Han says, "Come home," and then you see the dark cloud come over, and John Cena turns back heel. You see that there's good in Kylo Ren and John Cena, and all of a sudden, the referee takes the belt away and the kick in the nads, and of course John Cena wins. I thought the match was good. It was to the point. It wasn't over convoluted. It wasn't congested. No ref bumps, but it was still the heel kicking the straps. But R-Truth the match was fun, man. I can't complain.
No, I won't complain. I thought the match was fun. If this was a title match, I'd be complaining. If this was a title match, I'd be complaining. But no, this was fun. This wasn't a title match. Look, did I want to see R-Truth versus John Cena? No. John Cena is, to my prediction, is at the point where maybe he's handpicking his opponents, or at least telling Triple H who I want to work with. If they wanted this was fun because childhood hero with R-Truth, even though R-Truth is way older than Cena. Like it was a goofy, funny match. There's nothing wrong with adding that into certain matches. You should have expected a goofy match with R-Truth, I'll give R-Truth some credit because we think he's a joke. We don't think he's a joke. If you know the real Ron Killings, you know that motherfucker's a great wrestler. But when it comes to like now, right? I appreciated, he still gave us that goofy, idiotic character. Did you guys hear his promo on SmackDown?
It was a great promo. I left that out. I buried the lead. I forgot.
You know how serious that sounded?
Yes.
He gave us a little bit of the goofy, but at the end, it sounded like it was Ron Killings talking for us for the first time in 20 years, and not R-Truth.
It made you pay attention.
It did. Again, this was a non-title match. That's what you guys have to remember. This was for it to be a fun match. Because if this is a title match, respectfully, I had to change my whole thought because Cena's on his last title run. You got to have good title defenses before you drop it back to Cody. This would have bothered me, but it's a non-title match. It was fun. R-Truth did the best he could to build it up without John Cena, even doing the social media stuff, changing his whole fucking handles and all that shit. Give R-Truth his props, please. Give him his credit. It's time. I mean, I've been giving R-Truth Ron Killings his credit my whole life, but can we start doing that now? Because he finally showed you guys that he could be serious, not just this fucking clown. So I don't have a problem. If it was a title match, I would, but I don't because it wasn't. So.
You know what I saw from R-Truth or Ron Killings? Why he's still a long team. Why he's still
in the Yep.
It showed you why he's still there. For those that want to say why he's still in the company, why he's still there, it showed. Because when you need an R-Truth to go out there and cut that kind of promo he cut,
even Vince said he would have never gotten rid of him. Vince said it was like, why would I get rid of? Why would I get? They did the 24/7 documentary on R-Truth, like Damian Priest, but they 24. But they did R-Truth a couple years back, and Vince was talking was like, why the hell would I get rid of R-Truth? I can get this guy to do anything, and R-Truth said it was like, man. Like when I came in here, I didn't think me and Vince would really get it along, but Vince has really respected me, this and that. So again, that's why he's in this company still. Even the old man back then respected him. There's no way So again, props to R-Truth, man.
He's great. He's phenomenal. For what he does and all different. Ron and TNA was a different beast. Absolutely, yeah, Alex. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, him and TNA was a different fucking animal, bro. Coming first NWA champion, yeah, that was awesome. No, him and TNA was different.
Yeah, he's the only world champion. Ron wins and NWA. I'm happy still. Yes, and for him, that was a hell of a match. I loved it because like you said, that's a match that had to be done. If they would have not, if John Cena were retired and when I got R-Truth and John Cena, I think we would have been disappointed. Oh, we never got this.
I agree because
we're not gonna.
I agree because how many years have an Edge? Yeah, true. Yeah.
So we're not getting John Cena and Edge because Edge is no longer with the company right now. He's somewhere else. We're not going to get that. There's going to be a few matches we got R-Truth. And R-Truth says he idolizes Cena now, and the perfect. R-Truth has not been in a title picture or or to deserve a title match, but there's a match. Non-title on a nationally televised platform. Now, I'm going to get to, before I get to the steel cage match, I want to say this. Yes, it was annoying that Saturday Night's main event had a lot of ads and commercials.
There was 30 minutes of actual fucking wrestling out of 2 hours.
But it was an hour and 15 minutes of total wrestling, 30 minutes of commercials. I saw someone set it on a stopwatch. They literally, Shy Tom Mark literally was with a stopwatch. I mean, you really got to be some type of tool to sit there with a stopwatch.
I didn't do all that shit. Yeah. Well, I just noticed that there was a lot of commercials. That's crazy. There were a lot of commercials again, but I will say this. I hate it, but
we all hate it.
Let's remember, this is not a PLE. A lot of you motherfuckers get confused with Saturday Night Lights main event being a PLE. It is not. It is a televised show on NBC. NBC. NBC, the network that likes to put commercials out the most. You guys get pissed off at ESPN. You guys get pissed off at Netflix. You guys don't know half of it. You guys know how much I hate watching Sunday Night Football, and there's freaking commercials every 5 minutes. You guys have to understand what, one, NBC does, and two, Saturday night's main event is not a PLE, it is a show. So now, I had to stress that because that's where people are getting confused, Kev. People are getting,
you're right.
Yeah.
It's a nationally televised broadcast. They're gonna load it with television. Now, if you want to make another argument with Netflix, where you're paying $17.99 for the lower T, and you're getting crap load, that's different. Because TNA Plus, they give you commercials after the matches are over. If you watch our streams,
rare that they give us commercials during the match.
Rare. They do maybe two matches
when they're live. Interrupt. When they're live, they do that.
Only two, right? But we're paying for a stream. The same thing with Netflix. They should have that same mentality, not the mentality of Netflix every few seconds. Look, if you watch our watch-alongs, you see that we take the international feed, and we do Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown with the international feed because we can't do the US feed. It's too many commercials. It drives us ballistic.
Hell no, it drives me freaking insane, bro. You think I want to see? I don't want to see. You know what else pisses me off about Netflix? I'm sorry, now that we're getting on that, because you guys see it, right? You know how many times that you guys see us in the watch-alongs that are like, oh crap, it's a commercial break in the US, because you can see the timer on the top right, but it's New Day's cutting a promo. Oh, here comes Karrion Kross. Why don't again? We're not complaining because we have the international feed. Why the hell doesn't the Americans get to see that? Why don't we get to see that? Why do I have to pay an extra package and go international just to watch the New Day or Karrion Kross cut a promo? And that's not for us. That's on commercial. Ooh. Come on, Netflix. This is a new era. Yeah, bullshit.
You well deserved here. Let's go to the steel cage match where I had a lot of problem with Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary. Of course, we got some great video package, the back and forth. Where, my God, those guys hit themselves hard. You know, Drew McIntyre, not my cup of coffee, not my favorite wrestler to watch, but him and Priest had good chemistry. I got to give credit to credit is due. Those two big men move quick. They had great chemistry. They hard hitting for Damian Priest wins by going out of the cage. Although Jesse Body Ventura had an amnesia, thought that you don't win that way, but he forgets about Boss Man and Hulk Hogan and all that stuff. If you don't believe me, check my post on Twitter. I went on a rant with Jesse Ventura, but it's not about Ventura now. It's talking about Priest winning, but Priest hitting him with the chair. Looks like McIntyre's gonna be ran off the TV. Reports had it he had a bunch of different nagging injuries that he's gonna try to rest up and heal up. So he's being ran off the TV for a little bit. It's summertime, friend. Take a little bit of a break. Go enjoy the summer. You're with your wife. Rest up. Maybe have a movie roll. Take your sweet time. You don't need to rush back. Come back nice and healed, Drew. And we'll see you when you're ready to go. Maybe in October.
No, I agree. Again, we might not be the biggest fans of Drew McIntyre, but his work with CM Punk is really good. I think they had the feud of the year. Shout out Heather. Yep, dude. There's lots to talk about, man. There's a lot of things that didn't sit well with me.
We're trying to get there.
We're trying to get there, guys. We're still in Saturday Night Main Event, and we're still in the steel cage match. So bear with us. But no, it was a good showing. I'm a little bit surprised Damian Priest won. But like you said, makes sense. Drew McIntyre taking his break. He's done really good stuff. Again, having the stuff with Punk was really good. Having the stuff with Punk, Seth, and Punk was really good. His stuff with Damian Priest, really good. They build it up at the Royal Rumble. Good WrestleMania match. I think Drew McIntyre deserves the if he has all the injuries. Again, we're not big fans of the guy, but he deserves it. He's had a really good year and a half, and he's gonna be a part of some big matches coming up. So yes. Rest up. And again, we're not saying this because we don't want to see you on TV. We're saying this because there's a big SummerSlam ahead, and Drew McIntyre, you are a big star. We're giving you your props. You're a big star. You're gonna have a big match. Rest up, no problem. I liked it.
I'm gonna ask Alex. Give me a little more specific. Where do you guys see them going from here? From
Like,
which one?
Where do I see Priest going from here?
Priest and Drew for Priest? I don't know. You know what? Good question.
I'm gonna be honest.
Damian Priest is on SmackDown.
I want him in the
Maybe
U.S.
Jeff
title
Cobb?
picture. Yeah, U.S. title
Jeff
picture.
Cobb?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
U.S. title picture.
Okay,
I think
Drew,
him and
when he
yeah, go ahead.
when he returns, where would Drew do when he returns? My question is with Drew, is he returning as a babyface or a heel? The reason why, because I see Drew going back to Monday Night Raw and getting in Rollins' way with, you have Bronson Reed in the way or Braun for Drew McIntyre. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because it's confusing because for me, his recent storylines, especially with Punk, you didn't really tell who was the clear babyface, or you didn't tell he was the clear heel because Punk screwing Drew out of his match in Clash of the Castle in Drew's hometown, that's heel. But but Punk was the baby, and so like that's where I don't know, because it's confusing because the fans' reaction, it's confusing for him, and it's not his fault. It's not Drew McIntyre's fault. But some of the things that happen during his feuds, you can't tell who's the clear face and heel. And that's where it's going to fuck him over because he can't fully... I think he's better as a heel, let's be honest. And he's not going to be able to fully commit to that heel character because he's still going to have some things going on with the other opponent that's going to make the other opponent look like a babyface. So we'll see. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen for him.
No, I don't know. When he comes back, we're going to be surprised about it, though. When Drew returns...
It's going to be like another Bronson Reed thing. We're not going to know when the fuck it's going to happen. He's just going to come out.
You know what? You're right. You know what? And you know what? It'll be a pleasant surprise. It'll be a nice pleasant surprise. For him to heal up, I think we need him 100% fully healthy because I might not like him in the promo skills, but he does great work in the ring.
Yeah, when he has somebody that can carry him on the mic, he's good. Like the triple the three-way with Punk, Seth, and that's one of my favorite segments of last year. Of last year, what they did, he's like, yeah, who's the chosen one? Who? What was his name? And then he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and his facial expression, like, oh, you motherfucker. Drew, when he's on the mic with the right person, like a Punk, like a Rollins, he's a little underrated. But yes, him by himself, open mic, I agree with you 100%. Don't give him the open mic with nobody. But
it is a weird match. What am I seeing? Andrade versus Drew McIntyre. See how that styles. Different clash of styles. It kind of
I wouldn't mind that.
Different, but I wouldn't know. I don't know if that'll happen because I don't know how they'll get to storyline. But let's get back on track here. Main event time. Main event: Jey Uso, Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul. Actually, Jey Uso comes out first. When I told you it was a weird night. But I understand why. You wanted everyone eating while they were going to another commercial break. While they waited on to have the crowd excited going there, because you don't want to wait for Logan Paul and Jay, and then you go to commercial while they're eating. You don't do that, or they don't want to show waste time. So I understood it. Back and forth. The match was a good match. Jey Uso, Logan Paul doesn't really have a bad match, but I was surprised. Before that, we saw the crossing of the hallway between John Cena and Jey Uso. I was like, oh, before the match. I did not know John Cena was going to interject himself in this match. And prompting the return of Cody Rhodes coming back into the fold of television, coming out of the epic Universal Studio tour that he was with his wife and family.
He was going to be there. It ain't that far away. It's only like 2 hours away.
I know. It didn't take me to write it like Cody, like Corey did. Oh yeah, he's gonna be here.
Of course he's gonna be there. He's in fucking Orlando. Come on now.
What's going on, James Jones? What's going on, James? Wanted to shout you out. And
yeah, my thoughts on the match. Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. Logan Paul continues to not have a bad match. They love setting up big tag team matches at Money in the Bank. Bloodline Civil War last year, the year before. I mean, they love it, man. I don't mind it. I think, are they trying to get back to Cody and John already?
That's what I don't want right now.
That's
I don't want
that's
it right
the
now.
only thing. So okay, before I talk about the results, because that's where the conversation is really going to heat up. The match was okay. This was a babyface going after ultimate heel. This was to set up, that right now the ending. Yeah, Cena hasn't even had a title defense since winning that title, and he's gonna
Randy Orton.
Oh, Randy Orton. Excuse me, Randy Orton. He's had the title for one. He's defended it once against Randy Orton, which was a good match. But now with Cody coming back, you're gonna have this first. So he didn't defend the title Saturday. You're gonna have a tag team match at Money in the Bank. What's next? Cody and John, and then Cody wins. That was John Cena's title run as a heel.
I don't want that. I don't want that yet.
I don't want no. You because there's still matches to have. You still need CM Punk. We still need Joe Hendry, Gunther.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I'm not. Look, I don't like Cody Rhodes at all right now in WWE. I can see why you need him to return. Does he have to go after John Cena right away? Like, I get it. Like, he took his title. We haven't seen him since. But you couldn't go on Monday Night Raw and explain. Yeah, we had this. Hey, I'll see you at. I didn't like that. I don't like it because now you can't have Cody Rhodes lose. He has to win that title back. Now we're gonna have to get feuded up and anticipate Cody and John because Cody's back. Now they're having a tag team match. What's gonna happen at Money in the Bank? Is Dwayne gonna show up? Like, come on. I didn't like this. I don't. Go ahead, Kev.
No, I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you because it's setting up at Money in the Bank. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes. Now he's gonna team up against Logan Paul and John Cena. John Cena says, "You're gonna let a YouTuber take this title from you?"
Exactly. Now he's teaming up with him.
It doesn't make sense at the moment. Now, I don't know where the hell that. Because listen, I can't. I'm gonna expect the unexpected because we didn't have Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Does he add? Could he be the third man? If that was the case, if they were gonna put Logan Paul in that stupid group with Travis Scott, they should have done it before WrestleMania for Lord's sake.
Yo, wait, no. What if it becomes a triple threat match and they add Travis Scott? Because remember, he's rumored to be there.
I know that. That.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. You brought up Travis Scott, and I totally forgot. They could add another person to Cody and Jey, and they could add Travis Scott, and they could have Logan add me. Oh no, Kev. Oh no.
Here's this. What if I picture this idea? He's like white rice. Let's say Sami Zayn wants to be part.
Oh my god.
Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. That's what Sami Zayn turns on Jey Uso.
Yep, you got it. You beat me up. You got it. Yep. I think that's exactly if it's a triple threat match. Yep, they're gonna add Travis Scott. They're gonna add Sami Zayn. Yep, I agree. I agree with you.
A six-man tag.
Nothing to add there.
6 man. I do. I make the same mistake. Cody's new story could never be done before that. Left for himself long time ago. Ethan is in the building. What's going on? All right, no problem. I'll take care of that. Just it's a shitty way to add Logan to it all, but I would have to like to see Logan and John talk because right now I feel like it's going to turn on Logan to get the match thrown out. We'll see how that goes.
We got to see that, Alex. No, Alex, we need to see that. We have to see some type of John Cena and Logan Paul talk. We do because how did this come up? What was the before? Because what the hell did Kev just remember? What did Kev just say that Cena said? You're gonna let a YouTuber? So why the fuck are you teaming up with this YouTuber?
Hey,
explain that to me.
Right here.
Explain that to me. Explain that. I'm a champ. I'm one half of the tag team champions. No, but seriously, like, what we wanted. I need to know the backstory on this, and we haven't had much of Cena explaining shit to us. So can he at least explain this? Is this going to be another one where we're all like, well, why? Well, why? Look, if Dwayne or Cena, no, fuck Dwayne, if it's The Rock, if John Cena just would have simply, when he came out there, turning heel, roasting the fans in Belgium, he couldn't have at least given 5 minutes to that explanation in that promo. 45 minutes. That shit was 45 minutes. They did a whole commercial free hour. Not one. Well, this is why I did what I did. This is why me and The Rock are aligned with each other. Not one. You're not. He has. Cena, I love you. You have done a horrible job on your heel turn explaining why shit's happening. Horrible. Plus, we can't have John, so we need Logan to explain.
We need Logan to explain. I feel wouldn't talk.
I mean, yes, but
you're right, Alex.
I know you're right. I still think with John Cena's comments, I need an explanation from his mouth.
You know what? If John Cena, here's my gripe, and this is what I wish WWE would do. WWE is so great to do a lot of social media stuff, recording this, yada yada, all that stuff. If John Cena is not available for his limited schedule, not to be on certain dates, and we have storylines that are concurring and we have to wait weeks before John Cena arrives or shows up because of the limited schedule, it doesn't hurt for them to record something. You're telling me you can't record something for WWE TV, either Skype or something with a video vignette, something? You know, that's the same thing I said about The Rock. You know, so if you can't be there, make a video then. You know, and I said The Rock has a beautiful background in Maui. You know where he's at. He could easily done something, and he could even done even Hall of Fame. And again, not to rehash, for Triple H, congratulating him. The same thing John Cena could do. He lives in beautiful Tampa. I'm pretty sure he lives in St. Petersburg, with all the beautiful big ass houses with Tom Brady and all that. You know, we've seen his kitchen on Total Divas if he still lives in that same house, or if he has something similar. We know his taste. You're telling me you can't record something or cutting a promo or explaining, you know, or keeping the story alive, so we on Friday nights, you know, or you know, so it could progress with his heel turn, shitting on the crowd and tell you guys, and telling the crowd, even if we know the crowd is not, shut up and listen to me. Whatever the case is, you get the boos and you get the heat, and you're not out of sight, out of mind, and like, oh, when is John Cena returning? To me, that's that's the one I'm going to call a little laziness. You could definitely you're ruining wrestling. Explain it. Make a vignette. You know, and do something. The art of vignette doesn't take nothing but recording 10 to 20 minutes out of your time to make it 2 minute, anywhere from 2 to 5 minute vignette. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, he couldn't even do that for the Hall of Fame when Triple H was being inducted.
For both of them, for Dwayne and for John, they both could use that to their advantage. They should be using that to their advantage, and I think this is where WWE failed as a production, as a whole, as a creative, without not using their promos and their vignettes with guys that cannot be there. And that's my, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to go, and I'm not going to change my mind here. And we'll go now. I want to give a quick honorable mention because we do cover a lot of TNA. We skipped to Saturday's main event, but Under Siege. I'm not going to go through the whole card. I just wanted to give you some honorable mentions. We finally see Xia Brookside snap because she beat the living crap out of Rosemary, but Rosemary won by disqualification. So we might have seen her snap in a match that was in the 0 hour or the pre-show. Mike Santana was supposed to take on AJ Francis, but Casey Navarro, because AJ had an injury, he didn't want that Bronx smoke. But Mike Santana gets that victory. He hits him with the spin around the block for the victory. Cody Deaner, Eddie Edwards is the one that I want to talk about. We were hoping that Cody Deaner, was he going to finish his story? Was the Canadian Nightmare going to get that TNA contract? Eddie Edwards beats him. So it appears to Cody Deaner's TNA career over as of right now. So Cody Deaner did not finish his story at Under Siege. So he loses. The Northern Army versus the System. The Northern Army picks up a victory, unexpected victory, beat Moose out of all people, and gets the victory. Northern Army wins. Love that there. TNA Knockouts champion. Ash by Elegance versus Spitfire. Spitfire no more as the Elegance ladies win. And the stipulation was they were going to split if they were to lose, and no more Spitfire. So what happens with Daniel
That's
Lula?
great. That's the one I'm curious about, Kev, because like I said, we too much hot potato with those damn knockouts tag teams. So we got to see with Split Fire. We got to see where the storyline's going. That's all I wanted to add.
Yes. Mustafa Ali and the Grey Hands against Raja Singh. Indy Hartwell was a mixed tag, 8-person tag, where Mustafa Ali gets the victory. He just does a move. Oh my goodness, on Indy, and I'm like, whoa. But all in all, Tasha Steele and Mustafa Ali's coming unhinged with his group. They win that. Adriana Gage versus Tessa Blanchard. Tessa wins, hits her with a magnum for a victory. Adriana Grace, good job with Santino Marella seeing his daughter wrestle. That was a great moment for Santino and Adriana. They're going to team up later on because they come up a match coming up. I believe it's this for Thursday or or against all odds. They're going to team up father and daughter on a match. So, we'll see where that goes. Knockouts champion Victoria Crawford versus Masha Slamovich. Slamovich gets the victory. She retains. I don't think anyone saw that. Isn't shocked by that result with Masha keeping that title. World Tag Team titles, the Nemeth brothers taking on Matt and Leon Slater, their bruv. And of course, Nemeth brothers win. They definitely retain. That was a good match, but you could tell the Hardys are not on the same. Matt Hardy and Leon Slater. They weren't a natural tag team. It makes sense for the Nemeth brothers to win. Joe Henry and Elijah versus Trick and Frankie Kazarian. Joe Henry and Elijah gets the victory. That was going to set up for now when we go into Battleground. Battleground has a historic value because they had an opportunity.
What a show, man.
TNA title was going to be on the line. But before that, we get kicked off with one of the best women's matchup of the whole weekend. I mean, and by the way, a lot of women had great matches.
That was, I would put that at. I was watching this the same time I was watching the Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes, and I literally said on stream, I screamed it like, what a opening women's match for both companies. Kalani, before you keep going, I'm going to say this, Kalani versus Sola Ruka. So that match was fucking awesome. That match was awesome. From the Kalani Spanish Fly, Sola Ruka hit, what's her finisher called again? I forget, the Soul Drive. Soul Snatcher.
No Snatcher.
She hit a beautiful Soul Snatcher to end that. No, that match was awesome. Sola Ruka going over makes sense because now I finally think Zarya is gonna turn on her in the future. Now they're gonna get their programming going on. But this is how you open up Battleground. I was highly shocked. I'm not shocked because I'm not saying these women can't have a good match because they've had good matches. I'm shocked that they had a good match together.
Yes.
And they did. It was great. I have nothing to complain. The right winner won. There was good sequences. It started off really kind of, and then they just kept going and then like good pacing throughout the match. I was watching both these matches like the women's really killed it. But no, that was that was better than Stephanie versus Jordan. 100%. 100%.
I mean, this was great.
That was great. That was a good match. I was really impressed with the showing by Kalani.
Oh my God! Look at the moves they did. Crucifix bomb, twisting guillotine drops, some single leg crabs. You had a springboard X Factor, a backpack stunner. You had a space flyer tiger drop, a frog splash by Kalani Jordan. Saying homage to one of her favorites in RVD, back and forth soul snatcher from the top ropes before Zarya got kicked out for helping or pulling Soul Ruka out away from the moonsault, the one of a kind that Kalani Jordan hit. And my goodness, they killed it. Hell of a match between the ladies. 1, 2, 3, and my goodness, for Kalani Jordan, tells you why people have a lot of hopes on her. Kalani Jordan, when she came out with her braids, you know what she looked like? Her face, her facial, and her hair back. She reminded me of the Karate Kid, Will Smith, with the Jalen Smith Karate Kid. She looks like him.
Jaden Smith, yeah.
Jaden Smith, she looked like him. I was like, my goodness,
I'm not gonna lie, though. I was
like,
watching it. She came out, and I was like. Because I was multi-watching. I was like, wait, who the fuck is this? I thought it was supposed to be Kalani Jordan. And she came out. I was like, oh, wait, what? Like, she looked like, I thought I saw Jada Parker for a second. I was like, what?
No, she was about it.
I loved
it.
I loved it.
Great match. A sign of respect because I thought Kalani was going to turn full heel, but they had that handshake. It was a great match.
Yeah,
those two are good friends. It was great. And we go to a backstage where we've been calling for this for a long time. If you watch us on this channel, from the moment we knew that the UBS Arena show was announced in New York, in Elmhurst, and of course in Nassau County, we said this is where Mike Santana is going to win the world title. And yes, we might be Mike Santana's marks or fans, uber fans of him. Why not? The guy's from the Bronx. He's from my neighborhood, from where I grew up. He represents our culture. Well, my point is, but we're like, damn, how is he going to? You can't have two baby faces going at that company for that big title at Nassau Coliseum, and not at the UBS Arena at Nassau. Joe Hendry, I don't know if he's going to make it the world title. We were waiting to see how Joe Hendry was going to get there, but we see Mike Santana backstage with Shara Schreiber. I said it took 16 years for this moment. And he wants the winner of tonight's main event. It is Joe Hendry or Trick Williams. But he got interrupted by the North Quarter Catch Club. Charlie Dempsey confronts him, claiming he's an outside opportunities. He goes, "You outsider?" He goes, "You know what happens when you interrupt my promo time? You're gonna get punched in the mouth." But Trevian Heights steps up, and I like that. Ease the tension and says, "Yo, I always want a match. We'll be honored if I have a match with you on Tuesday." And we got a match for Mike Santana this Tuesday in NXT. It was supposed to be in Tampa, but they're gonna have it in NXT at the Performance Center. Man, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see Santana in an NXT ring and a WWE programming. Let's go. We're excited. We're so excited.
Watch my reaction. Says it all.
Yes, and then we have a tag team match. I have a 6-man tag. Excuse me. Hank and Tank with Josh Briggs versus the Culling. 6-man tag. I'm not gonna be honest with you. I was doing a basketball game last night. Chris was doing a watch along. I watched it this morning. I'm totally honest, ladies and gentlemen. I fast forward that match. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not invested. I'm not invested in Hank and Tank. I agree. I apologize, Hank and Tank, if you're watching. I just don't like your matches.
I agree. I might have been still covering or updating the chat on the Mercedes and Jamie stuff, so I didn't really pay attention to that match either. Again,
we get the win. We know that Uemura comes out. He hugs it out with
I saw that. That was all right. That was okay. I just tag team division's a little bit since Axiom left. That's why I haven't been.
Yeah.
They need somebody. They need two more to step up, bro. They need a new axe. That's what, you know what I'm saying. I love Miles Bourne. Love Miles Bourne to death. And he had a great match, and we'll talk about it next. Get him and Tavion Heights back together, and like for real. Not that they're separated, but make him your main tag team. They just had a fucking great match with the Hardys a couple weeks ago. Yeah, make him your main tag team. Now that Axiom's gone.
Heavy machinery wannabes. Yeah, with the Hank. And Tank tries too hard, but it is what it is. We get an interview, which was kind of weird. They put an interview in the middle of the ring with Ethan,
I hated that shit.
Henry Schreiber. That was like, it was like, huh?
I didn't like it. I'm straight up didn't like it. I didn't like it. What the fuck was the point of that? Ricky Starks came out there. This was something that could have been done on NXT Tuesday. He literally went out there, and you know what? That wasn't even worth NXT Tuesday. He came out there, said a couple things. Ethan Page came out, punched him in the face, and he walked out. That was boring. That was stupid. It was a waste of filler. What were you? What did they use? Yeah, it wasn't a good one.
Because prior to that, Ethan was cutting a Page backstage, a promo, and then that's when Ava interrupted.
Yeah.
The winner has to defend their title at the Tuesday at Worlds Collide. So okay, the winner of Tuesday gets the World Collide. By the way, with all that pomp and circumstances, I wish the 6-man tag was on Tuesday, and Ethan and Ricky Saints was on this pay-per-view. I don't know. Again,
I agree. That's
where they came to the flip-flop. Because I think Ethan and Ricky Saints were more prominent than the 6-man tag. That's just me,
I agree.
but
I agree. And look, we haven't seen
one.
Where the fuck is Ricky? Real quick, where the fuck has Ricky Saints been consistently since winning that title?
He should be on. He should have been defending it on this PLE. This is his first. Yeah, this would have been a good one. Yeah, this should have been there. That should have been there. I think. Here's one: Tony D'Angelo versus Channing Lorenzo.
I like that match.
The family. I like the match because the way they got to the end.
Yes.
You know, it was hard hitting. A lot of suplex, a lot of stuff. Ricky is falling flat, and not really. I think he just has to be on some main per-view, some matches. I think he needs more matches, Alex. Now, here's the one. Lorenzo wins with a shot in the nads where Luca Crucifino comes out, just stands there. Don is like, where you been? I've been looking for you. A distraction. Their ending was done correctly because it was that distraction with the referee turn. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. And out you go. I like it. Nothing much to add there. I like it.
Nope. Stacks took over the family. About freaking time.
We'll find out. Now, here's one thing here. We've seen these two ladies from AAA Mexico. One lady's called La Madrina. She looks like the grandmother, not Madrina, but. And then with this other young lady from AAA, and when they showed in the crowd, because again, I was back and forth looking from the watch along.
That's what I was doing for That's what I was doing for Double or Nothing. And
I asked Chris, is that Stephanie Bakur's mom? That's in the crowd, but no, it was. I didn't know that was a double A wrestler, a AAA wrestler.
Oh yeah, you did. I was like, no, that's a AAA wrestler. Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
I thought it was her mom or something.
I was like, no, that's a AAA. There's two AAA wrestlers. They showed him at ringside because they did. It was good though. I mean.
I gotta find out what age is. She's in her 40s. Oof.
No, she.
Well,
yeah. I'll tell you who I think she looked like off air, because I saw her. I was like, no. I was like, wait. You're not even gonna believe who I thought that was.
Stephanie versus Jordynne Grace. To me, this was the third best women's match of the night of the whole weekend, because I think Mercedes and Jamie Hayter was second, but Jordynne Grace and Stephanie McCool was freaking banging.
It was really good too.
It could be your choice if you want to say this is the second one, or either one of you pick. You can't go wrong. I thought they.
No, this was a really good match. This is a really good match.
Continues to show us why she's one of the best women's wrestler all across wrestling. I love Jordynne Grace. I think her work there, and of course, come on, Stephanie McCure is the top of the pinnacle right now in women's wrestling when it comes all across all companies. I love the back and forth, the spinning back fist. I like when when Stephanie teased the devil's kiss and Jordynne Grace rolls out, and then she goes to Booker T in the face and goes, no, it wasn't gonna happen. Booker T, I love that. Jordynne Grace trolling Booker T, the crowd chanting Booker T. Then of course she does the devil's kiss. But Stephanie McCure continues to show why she's the best women's wrestler in a match that it was just so well done. It wasn't even long. It was just paced correctly. Everything was there. Stephanie McCure defends her title, rightfully so, against Jordynne Grace. Love it. Let's go to your thoughts before I go to the next match.
No, nothing to add. Maybe she was getting some anger out. Elba Femi called her out on national TV. I can't wait to meet Stephanie's boyfriend. That shit was awesome. No, go ahead. I got nothing else to match. That was a good match. Stephanie, for Jordynne Grace though, I want to know what's next for her too as well. Because now we're seeing Stephanie kind of mix it up with the AAA ladies. So I kind of think Zaria's gonna go after the NXT North American title. So my only thing would be what's Jordynne got main roster soon? Who knows? But that's it. That's all I had. On a serious note.
Yeah, I would like to see what Jordynne Grace goes here. I kind of would like to have the world title one more time. Oh, the NXT.
She will. I think she will because we're seeing it with. Honestly, call me crazy. I'm shocked that Julia is in the main roster before Stephanie. But when Stephanie gets to the main roster, I think Jordynne will be passed down. She'll drop the title to Jordynne Grace. I think the next time they fight,
unless they push Jordynne more to the main roster first before Stephanie,
they could do that. They could do that again. Jordynne Grace. Look, Jordynne Grace is one of those people. She could have done either or. Now she
Yes.
probably did NXT because when she was with TNA, she had the relationship. Like, hey, I'll start here first for a couple months or whatever, year tops, and then I'm out. But she's somebody that didn't even need to be in NXT in the first place. So I'm not. Whenever they bring her up, fine with me. Not surprised.
I think she's going to the main roster.
Yeah,
Here's the reason
so
why.
do I.
She was interviewed on Busted Open After Dark, and she kind of said she doesn't like the Performance Center. Like the crowd.
What? I
It's
missed that.
It's kind of always the same people. You know, she
It
likes
is
travel.
people. Yeah.
She likes traveling. She wants to see she wants different reactions. She doesn't want to see the same people giving the same reactions. She wants to be able, because she wants to know if she's getting crowds over or not. The traveling part. So to me, it seems like she's ready for the main roster. She doesn't want to be in NXT going to Orlando. I think she feels
You know what? I never, as much as we kind of make fun of the guys at the Performance Center, I never realized how the wrestlers feel about that. I didn't realize that because, you know, we see like, you know, all these Performance Center guys, the regulars, you know, they're all cool with the wrestlers and the wrestlers all like fuck with them. Like they know who half of them are. But I didn't know that. That opened my eyes up a little bit to how the wrestlers feel because like she's right 100%. Because, okay, I know I'm over here in the Performance Center, but what happens when I go to Pennsylvania? Are the people in Pennsylvania gonna like me? What happens when I go to Los Angeles? Like, yeah, wow, I never
Look,
realized
I told you from experience, and
Yeah,
I also
exactly.
was, and it was also confirmed by Baron Corbin, aka Bishop Dyer, on Busted Open. When the crowd on the NXT arena turned on Braun Breaker as a babyface when he was world champion, they were barking, bark. They were doing sarcastic barks. They were totally tired of his title range. It bothered Braun. You could see in his face. That's why I think that's why I gravitated. Me and my wife gravitated to be so uber baby. That's why now you know my love and my appreciation for Braun Breaker comes from when I saw how the crowd turned on him, and I saw something backstage outside the wrestling walls, conspiring, politicking in front of my nose with performers against Braun when I'm not being there. That's why I gravitate, and I am such a uber Braun Breaker fan, because the kid was doing the right thing, and even his own peers were politicking behind his back. That's why I'm an uber Braun Breaker fan. That's why I am so mad, because he worked his ass off to be where he's at. That's why I'm so, to me, he's my all end all as a wrestling fan currently right now in 2025. That's why, because of other stuff, and I'm going to leave it there because I'm not going to add,
no, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I saw stuff that gravitated me, and I could see where Jordan Grace says she kind of wants to go travel and kind of say, I kind of want to go to the main roster now. I did my stuff in NXT time, and I kind of want to travel and see different crowds and get my work in different people. I could see why. No disrespect to the Performance Center. She says they're good people, they're passionate, but I want to hear if I could get over elsewhere. And I could see that, and I could understand and appreciate where Jordan Grace came from. I was like, ooh,
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I don't blame her. And that's why when a lot of these guys like Trick, like a lot of, again, they just grab it. This, again, I'm not going to say anything else. The only thing is, you know it from experience. They gravitate to who they like, period. You could be the biggest fucking heel in the world, but if they love you, you're going to get the biggest cheer in the Performance Center. It's that simple.
Here it is. If they saw you at the ale house having dinner and they saw you and you happen to hang out with them at the ale house after wrestling and you hanged out with them,
because we're boys, we're tight.
That's what that NXT is.
Yep, it's a fucking clique. It's a clique. It's a cult. It's a clique. It's a gang. That's what it is.
Exactly. That's why a lot of the wrestlers sometimes want to get out of there and move up and so forth. So that's my point.
I wish,
and I'll say a story out.
It just sucks that they're not in Tampa for this show. You hear? It does suck that they're not going to be in Tampa for the show.
It sucks for that part, and it also kind of cool because you're going to see Santana at the Performance Center, which is
right.
Cool.
Right, I agree.
If it wasn't Tampa, he was never going to be in the Performance Center. He was going to be in Tampa. So it's cool that he's going to be at the Performance Center. I kind of want to see him in Orlando. I want to see him in the Performance Center. I want to see him come out through the halls of WWE. Maybe
you could literally. Oh wait, you can't bring flags. Fuck.
Yeah, you could bring flags. Bobby used to bring flags. I can't go because I got a basketball game tomorrow.
You got a basketball game, I know. Yeah.
I'm to go. I have my confirmation. I always do my confirmation, but I just didn't pull the trigger. I still could go, but I'm not going to pull the trigger because we got the channel. I have commitments on the channel. We got different streams.
Yeah, no, there's I trust me. I know.
I would love to go see Mike Santana. I will bring I have my hat ready to go. Get the big flag. Let's go, Mike Santana. Let's go. I want to know which in the arena, because is he going to come out through the arena? Because he comes through the crowd. Is he going to come up through the crowd? Is he going to come through the Performance Center doors? I got to know. I got to see this. It'd be great to see Santana. We'll see on Tuesday. I'll keep an eye on that there. We'll get to the match here. Obafemi versus Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne, if you didn't think Miles Bourne was a main event player soon in the near future, that match with Obafemi told you so. Those boys hit back and forth. They hit hard. Good match there. Some back and forth lariats, some power bombs, some power moves from Miles Bourne hitting on Obafemi. Obafemi was pushed. Obafemi was pushed by a Miles Bourne, underrated, almost got the victory, but of course he falls to the fall of grace where Obafemi retains. In the shine of respect, Obafemi nods respect to Bourne. Bourne just told us when the WWE is ready to put the rocket ship on him, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm saying it here now. At NXT deadline, Miles Bourne will be your Iron Survivor.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love this showing. You guys, there was a lot of people in my chat last night, in our chat. Randy Orton, people look too much like Randy. Look, he's not just copying and pasting Randy's gimmick. Does he look exactly like him when he walks out with the tattoos and the wristbands? Yes. Does he take a couple of moves like the sidewalks? Yes. But that when Miles Bourne does that little dive over the ring, he got a big air. He has other moves. He does a really good drop kick. This was a good showing for Miles Bourne as a singles competitor. Oba really got the best out of him. Oba is really dominant. I don't know or see anybody right now who's taking that title away from him. So it was good. I like that. Oba. Como se dice? Miles Bourne got over without winning, without going over. That's what I want to say. Miles Bourne got over without going over.
For those that say Randy Orton, he's stealing Randy Orton's move. Again, I'm gonna say this again. Randy Orton, when he was coming back from spinal fusion a couple years ago, he handpicked and trained with Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne was under Randy Orton's tutelage. Miles Bourne got Randy Orton back in ring shape, so to the point where they had a weightlifting program together, dietitian program together, also ring sets together. That's why Randy Orton and Miles Bourne look so eerily alike, because they worked together. They had the same physical workouts where they worked out together. They train in the ring because he got Randy Orton back from finals fusion. He was the guy that he picked. Like we heard Gallus boys.
Yes, Randy. Yes, exactly.
Randy worked hand in hand with Miles Bourne, teacher-student mentality with them. That's why they look so eerie alike, where the physicality, when they both put the same amount of muscle, they were probably taking the same vitamins or the same supplements. They were doing everything cohesive. They have a bond, friendship.
Look, that's how you know Miles Bourne's going to have a big future.
Yes.
That's how you know. I mean, look, again, the day that guy turns a little heelish, oh boy, this could be Menace Randy Orton all over again. Not saying it's going to be exactly, but a version of, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of you see this and that. First off, it's not offensive. If somebody told me, hey, you remind me of Randy Orton, thank you. That's actually the coolest thing anyone's ever told me. Awesome. He's my hero. I mean, look, like it's not a bad thing. It's not like he's or like anything like that, or like he calls himself like the rattlesnake or the fucking something like that, like the Hall of Fame destroyer. Like he's not mimicking it. So like It's good. I love Miles Bourne. He had a good match. Like, he wasn't gonna win. We knew it. Had a good match. Now I wonder what's next for Oba. That's a good show. Good match.
And I liked it for Miles Bourne. Showed us why he belongs there. Again, what's next for Oba?
Yeah, you know what? That question has been coming up a lot during this show. What's happening next for some of these people? What? Because that's what it feels like right now with a lot of people, not just NXT main roster as well. It really feels like that. So.
Does Moose come back and try to get capture WWE title away from because
maybe I don't know, because when we see Moose in TNA recently, he's doing a lot of system shit. He's not really.
I know he's
not really doing X Division stuff.
Let me ask this, Chris. Say this though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be right now. Right now, I'm gonna leave. Let's put a pin on that one. I'm gonna put a pin on that one because I'm gonna get back to why I think Moose. I'm gonna put a pin because we're going to the main event.
We're going to the main. Yeah. Let's go.
Before the match, we see TNA president Carlos Silva in attendance. So Carlos Silva in attendance. So the president's there. When I saw that there, I said, "Oh, the president's there. I think something's going to happen." What's up, Christopher?
Chris Denver. Chris Denver. I appreciate you joining me, brother. We had a good. Yeah. Chris Denver. Yes, Chris Denver. We had a good conversation about the playoffs again a couple days ago. Thank you so much for being here today, brother. Appreciate you.
We're waiting for you. We're definitely waiting you one of these days on the watch along to join us on screen, man. We've been throwing that out there. So let's go right into this. Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, back and forth match. You could see the influence of Booker T and Trick Williams. He actually did the spin-a-rooney, the 5-time spin-a-rooney there. Joe Hendry, back and forth they go. We get to the end here. We had a bookend on the table, but the title was brought in by Trick Williams. Now the referee takes it away. The title gets dropped. All of a sudden, Trick shot hits for the victory. Of course, Joe Hendry hits his head on the title. Trick shot. We got a new TNA World Champion in Trick Williams. We weren't surprised. We called it. Chris, let's go.
Trick Williams is your new TNA champion. Yes. I just want to pull up so much footage of all the shit that we've been saying for months, and it finally happened. Oh my God. No, I like it because like you said multiple times, right? There's still a chance that we're going to get Joe Hendry versus John Cena. Why the fuck would you have your TNA champion and your world champion going after it for the WWE Undisputed title? People wouldn't like that. I know TNA fans wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. Now, I am surprised because, our friend of the program, Metz, who had a brief segment with us last week, brought in something to my attention that was pretty good. Because we seen Frankie Kazarian getting is involved with Joe Hendry. He got involved at Under Siege after the match. It's there, right? Well, even though he tag teamed with Trick, right? So he's in that mix. So I thought that could have gone some type of way. When I saw the look on Carlos Silva's face, president of TNA, I said, "Oh shit, he's not happy. The title's going to Trick." I don't mind this, guys. This is history. TNA or Trick is the first WWE guy to hold TNA gold while being in contract with WWE. It's going to set up Mike Santana. Again, we've been saying this for months, but when we saw the face-to-face backstage, that really confirmed it for us. It confirmed that was going to happen. I'm not upset with it because Metz said something to me or to us that I didn't agree with, but I see where he's coming from. Joe Hendry's just billing his own portfolio. He's helping TNA massively, don't get me wrong, by repping that title. But now he's going to do a lot on his own. And that is John Cena. That's where John Cena comes into play. If that match is as much as we want that match to be on a Slammiversary, I think it's going to happen on WWE programming. I don't think WWE is going to allow this match to not take place on WWE, especially under TKO. No, we are giving that money to us. So with Joe Hendry doing is he like, hey, I want to drop the title so I could do all this stuff? Is he building his own portfolio right now? Is he going to do that more? Because I am not in no way, shape, or form saying that Joe Hendry did not help build. Joe Hendry is the main reason right now why TNA, not the main, but one of the main reasons why TNA is where it's at, selling out crowds, selling out pay-per-views. Joe Hendry is that motherfucker. Excuse my language. Don't get me wrong. I just want to be very clear so people aren't getting twisted with me saying that Joe Hendry isn't helping build up TNA. No, absolutely he is. He's the reason why. But again, this is also helping himself in a big way. And I wouldn't be surprised. This is the business. This is a business. This is the wrestling business. It's not always going to be nice. Even what we do as content creators and podcasters, it ain't always going to be sweet and nice. So let me drop the title to Trick Williams. Let me go fight John Cena and build my stuff up. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just telling you guys, I'm trying to give you guys reasons for you guys not to be, why is Trick Williams, he's not even TNA, they should have kept it under TNA. I'm just trying to give you guys, like Kev does with me when I don't agree with him, he opens up my eyes about shit, and I'm like, okay, I could see where you're coming from, maybe. I'm trying to do that for you. So that's kind of where it's at, but I'm not mad about it. I liked it.
Look, when I saw Carlos Silva, it wasn't that the look that he was upset or not. I knew that he okayed it. When I saw him there, I said, yeah, he's there to make sure to give the okay, the final blessing.
Right. That's a better wording. That's a better wording.
And I saw that, I said, yeah, Trick is going over because he's there to okay it. If there was no TNA on camera like that, Trick is going to not win that title. Joe is going to retain. I don't think they agree with it. They'll have it there. When Shawn Michaels takes the picture holding the TNA title, that means they're trusting trusting Shawn Michaels' creative team to book the world title a couple of times on NXT TV on Tuesday. When the signification of that is, okay, they're going to trust HBK to do storylines with the TNA world title, at least on NXT programming. Okay, I saw that there. I'm looking at that as a positive. Also, a second positive, Trick Williams, if he holds the title, you'll have a big show in New York City. Right now, I believe they're at, I have to look at WrestleTix. I believe they're almost halfway with the arena being full. I believe
same like anniversary. Yeah. While you're talking, I can get that information while you're talking.
Those. What it's going to do is sell. What's going to put butts in the seats? Like I always say, you have your hometown guy in the name of Mike Santana, who's having, by the way, in a couple of weeks, Puerto Rican weekend on House of Glory, when he's going to bring all the Puerto Rican wrestlers in there. He's being showcased. He is also one of the longest reigning House of Glory world champions right now. He's on a title reign. He's two-time champions. He's doing all these things where he's a draw. People love to see him on TNA TV. Now he's on the chase. He's going to be now seen against Trevian Heights for the WWE Universe to see who he is. Now he's getting showcased on the CW. Guess what? Oh, by the way, who's this guy Santana? Why is the crowd gravitating and going crazy from Mike Santana? I would have loved the introduction or the presentation from the arena in Tampa rather than the Performance Center because it looks badass when he comes through the crowd like that. I don't know if it's going to lose a little bit of a luster with the Performance Center. My point is, now you have people, now you even seen on social media this morning, people are rallying behind Mike Santana. Go get our title back. Go get our company, our title. Go get what belongs to our company back. In Mike Santana, you have now people rallying behind in company to get it back. Go get that title that Joe dropped. Now. So,
as of May 23rd, 2025, according to the official account of WrestleTix on X, TNA Slammiversary, Sunday, July 20th, 2025, 7 o'clock, UBS Arena. Available tickets, 1,442. Current setup, 4,229. Tickets distributed, 2,787. That's up 79 since the last update, which was a week ago. And total of seats on the map is 16,000, and the cheapest ticket is $47.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Mike Santana home and especially WWE TV on CW says the hometown guy from the Bronx, trying to capture the title back from Trick Williams, and you have the summer program to build it. You don't think people in New York City were going to hear that and say, you know what, damn, let's go. I don't know. Joe almost looked like he was about to cry. I think the facials looked legit. Joe Henry might have done this. You're going to get your John Cena title match if you drop the NXT the TNA title here. And I think he traded it. I think he traded the title for his opportunity match for John Cena, because I think that's going to propel Joe Henry on a bigger stage to lose to John Cena for his contract than have him holding the TNA title and running through the division. Then what? Then he could put on a resume, TNA World Champion, had a match with John Cena before retiring. I think that's a bigger plateau for Joe Henry than him beating Trick Williams and still retaining his title. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I could see that. I could see that.
And then here's remember when I said put a pin on it? You got Moose with the system. You're not happy that Joe Henry dropped that title. Don't you think as a group, as a system, they'll do whatever it takes to try to capture NXT World Title? Cheat with Eddie Edwards, JDC, or Alicia, whatever it takes to try to be the Obafemi, NXT World Title away from to help Moose win at all costs. They're a fashion. Obafemi doesn't have any allies, and they want to capture NXT for TNA. You kind of have like a little bit of an invasion type of back and forth, because we saw that with him. TNA is up for it because we saw it with the border brawls. So now we can have something similar. I think they tested it with USA Canada to see they might bring it to a WWE TNA, NXT TNA.
Why not?
Type of.
I mean, there was already rumors about the Nemets and a couple other TNA talent already possibly joining the Worlds Collide. I know it's announced the AAA and NXT. Just do a fucking TNA. Add TNA. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a triple threat match and have one guy represent all three companies. No, you could have TNA versus WWE. You could have AAA versus WWE. Fuck, you could have TNA versus AAA, or you could just have WWE versus WWE. Like, you could build your own. Like, why not? Worlds Collide. Why, it's called Worlds Collide for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if they'll be in California around that time anyway, but for tapings, but I think they'll be on the West Coast. So, unless they got Pittsburgh that week, I think Pittsburgh's the week after, my city. I think that's the week after. So I think they'll be in the. So we'll see.
We'll definitely, like you said, we'll see. Personally, I think that's where they're going. I think Against All Odds is coming up. I believe it's coming up really quick. Against All Odds is right around the corner. Not this week, next week. Against All Odds pay-per-view for TNA. That's where probably Trick Williams gets his title defense. Maybe that's where he'll go up against Joe Henry, and he comes short. And Trick still continues, because it's all going to lead to Santana versus unless I don't see Frankie Kazarian. He's the heel. Trick Williams the heel. You can't. It just one thing about Tommy Dreamer, he likes that babyface versus heel booking. Classic 101, and I don't right now. Trick is the heel. It's going to be Santana. I just by Tommy Dreamer, the way he does business, with a creative booking. I don't know. Having TNA versus NXT will help, and WWE will help make more serious, giving the business more to work with. Yeah, I mean that we'll see how that goes there, and we'll see Tuesday. Tomorrow night on NXT. Tonight is Monday Night Raw. We're going to go right into Double or Nothing All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view. In a pay-per-view where mixed reactions. Some people didn't like it. Some didn't like it. I saw the latter part
last
of the
three
pay-per-view.
matches.
It wasn't bad. It was a little long. It was long.
As somebody, can I say this as somebody who watched the entire thing? So this Double or Nothing was good. There's a lot of things on this thing that surprised my mind. Heather, I know you're in the chat. Thank you for last night, for being with us, because you know that I was doing both Battleground and this. So I was really wanted to pay attention to some things, right? Because we have a weekly show to do, and AEW is, I kind of do my thing when it comes to the AEW part of it because I'm a big fan. I wear the hat every week, either this or the Bass Pros hat. But anyway, the opening match was perfect. This was the best Mercedes match she's had since she's been in AEW. This was the best women's match of the year for the company. Was the winner predictable? And I hate it. I hate that Now, yes. Match. Now, outcome. This is where I have a problem. Your women's division's dead. Jamie Hayter is not going to thrive. Megan Bayne is not going to thrive. Queen Amadada is not going to thrive. Penelope Ford is not going to thrive. Why? Because you have your two champions and your two best women who could be putting these people over, going against each other in the biggest show of the year. What other freaking women's match is there to care for on All In? You're going to have no women's matches for All In. You're going to throw in random bullshit like you did with the Puppet and Anna Jay, like you did in the buy-in show. No, I have a problem. Now, guys, this is going to be a mixed reaction because I love the matches, but I fucking hated the outcomes. I hated the outcomes for almost all the matches, but I love them. So that's why if you hear me flip-flopping, that's why. Now, you have nothing for All In. You have no women's matches for All In. You have your two biggest stars. You have your two champions. What's there for Megan Bayne to do? Do you guys look at Megan Bayne just besides her freaking body and how hot she is? Do you guys actually see how good she is at being a wrestler? She has the freaking look. She has the size. She's good. And she hasn't done shit because Tony Khan is burying her with the booking. You do not throw Tony Storm at her right away. You can't. Where's Athena? Why is Athena watching this shit from home? Why isn't she having a match? You have to throw her in All In now. You have to have the Ring of Honor Women's Champion now. What else is there? You have no women's matches. You're not going to have Britt Baker come back. You're not going to have Mariah May come back. There's nothing. So the women's division, that match killed the women's division. It was the best match of... Think about this. Think about how weird and stupid I might sound, but it's true. This was the best women's match in AEW in 2025, but this match fucked up. This outcome fucked up the women's division going forward. That was really bad. Mike Speedball versus Okada. That was a really good fucking match. Not gonna lie. But they did not need to be on this card. When you have Anarchy in the arena, when you have the two Owens, which the Owens were actually... This was the best Owen Hart tournament in the last couple of years because, first off, it's not... Unless Mercedes, because she's a freaking championship, she likes to walk around with belts. This isn't like you're gonna win the Owen Hart and then you're not gonna see the belt all year. No, the winners had title matches officially. So at least Tony Khan gave us something for the Owen to mean something. So I'll give him his props for that. But this Okada match didn't have to happen. It was a dynamite match. Same thing. Again, guys, I'm not going to go too long because we've been going for 2.5 hours. But the Briscoe and Ricochet match was good. That was a collision match. The Hart Syndicate match and Ring of Honor and Sammy Guevara and Dustin, that was stupid. Why the hell is Dustin Rhodes taking a mean-ass spear off the barricade breaking from Bobby Lashley? That dude's bones are about to break. That was dumb. Anarchy in the arena. Let's just talk to the stuff that people care about, right? Anarchy in the arena. I've been watching Anarchy in the arena. I've been watching Double or Nothing since the very first one. I've been watching AEW for 6 years. That was, and I quote, the worst Anarchy in the arena AEW's ever produced. I mean, Alex, that was complete horseshit. First off. Second, it's so chaotic. I don't like, imagine we had two other people on our panel and it was like up, up. That's what they did. I had to watch 4. Mind you, well, no, NXT was done. But watching 4 different matches at once on like a screen. And then they're going out in the Willow and Marina are out in the trucks. And then they get back in the ring as if nothing happened. Gabe Kidd comes out, which he should have been in the match to begin with. Briscoe comes out, which he had nothing to do with. John Moxley sucks. Marina Shafir's boring. This Wheeler Yuta looked like yo. This is what happened, yo. So they come out, and Marina Shafir's like this. She's ready. And then they point the camera shot at Wheeler Yuta, and all you see is some scrawny ass. It looks like a kid, but he's a grown ass man. Some scrawny ass kid with this muscle, because he's like, oh my god, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. You know, in Dynasty, they booed him in his own hometown when they came to Philadelphia. Wheeler Yuta is born and raised in Philly, went to Temple University, the freaking arena, and they booed the shit out of him. But and I was there. I was outside. Trust me, they were booing him too. But he looked awful. I mean, he did not look badass. He looked like a punk ass little kid, and he's a grown ass man. Horrible anarchy in the arena. And then why the fuck would you have Adam Cole and the bootleg Undisputed Era come out and have a pointless 6-man tag team match right before Ospreay and Hangman? Hangman and Ospreay didn't start until what? 11:45, Kev? Is that when it went on?
Yeah.
11:45?
Yeah.
Because we
thought Anarchy in the Arena was over.
We thought Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh god.
That was, and then bro, that match. Look, that was a beautiful match. That was a masterpiece. That was a 5-star match. I loved every single minute of it. But I also hated how freaking long it was. It started on 11:40. There should have been spots. Look, if Hangman was going to win, the spot where they both took their freaking elbow pads off and Hangman, that should have been the end. That should have been the end. And then Ospreay doing 4 of his finishers. To see, this is what I love and hate about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is my favorite wrestler in the world. I'm going to say this right now. It's no secret. But it's like on a Sunday night. Thank God it was Memorial Day weekend and we didn't have shit to do. But they ended the show at 12:45 or like 12:30 or some shit. And they just dragged it out too long. And I'm dragging this out too long. So I have nothing else to say. Look, it was a really good. All the matches were fucking great. Except Anarchy in the Arena. That was a shit show. And Tony and Mina was stupid as fuck as well. Other than that, I'd give the show an 8.5 out of 10. It's too long. It is too long. And the match placements suck. Go ahead, Kev.
You saying that we know that All Out, we got the main event for the women's. It's going to be Mercedes versus Toni Storm. And you say the women's division is dead. I know what Tony Khan's going to do to try to think that the women's division isn't dead.
He's going to bring in Dakota Kai and all these other releases. Try to bring in at least.
That's another one. That's one. At All Out, guarantee that announcement's coming. He's going to say, I got a special announcement coming up. We're going to do a tournament to crown the first ever AEW women's tag team champions. Because you're seeing it with Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne. We're seeing all these tag teams together. You're gonna have Tiana Perazzo team up with Tyra Valkyrie to try to go for gold. You're gonna have Sky Blue is gonna team up with someone. You're gonna have Coffee Cake and Real Velvet on one corner. You're gonna have the Rabbit and Julia Hart in the other tag team. Well, no, she's in TNA right now. The Rabbit there, so yeah. But you know what I mean. He's gonna make a tag team. He's gonna, and we're gonna include CMLL luchadors, ladies luchadors. They're gonna, and that's the second women's match they're gonna have.
For the sake of my mind, my language when it comes to some of these reviews. Don't do that, AEW. Please, please do not. Please don't put me in that mental state where I have to go on a rant.
Oh, prepare yourself, pal, because it's coming. Those women's tag team titles are coming, and that's his big announcement, and that's going to be on All In. We're gonna crown our first ever women's tag team champion. We're gonna have a tournament there. Yada yada. Yeah. He's gonna and yeah. Well, TK has more or less said that already.
Once we're done live. Excuse me. Once we're done live, I gotta listen to the media scrum.
We know that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Now, matches that you didn't mention, which we didn't care about, was FTR taking on Daniel Garcia and coming out of the commentary booth like Pat McAfee, Nigel McGuinness.
I didn't give two craps about. I didn't give a fuck. Why do I care about that match? Why should I care about that match?
That should have been a main event on Collision. Seriously.
No, not even that.
The match, the stretcher match with Briscoe and Ricochet could have been Collision, a main event at Dynamite or a 0 hour match.
I don't think that should have been a 0 hour match because I would say a Collision. I'd say Collision main event because Collision doesn't get matches like that. Maybe people would actually maybe they'd actually get more than our show.
You remember they had Anna Jay, Tommy Cameron. That's a tag team right there. Megan Bain, Penelope Ford. They had that in a 0 hour. They're warming you up to that idea.
Oh, I know exactly. Absolutely. I know. Yeah, they've been. I think you know who he's gonna get it first. Megan Bain and Penelope Ford.
You won't be. I wouldn't be surprised.
Which is fine. They've been doing good work together. I don't mind it. So whatever.
But as singles, he's waiting for that because at the end of All Out, whoever wins between Mercedes or Toni Storm, at the end, the top of the ramp, you're gonna get a new debuting female wrestler. Will probably be Tesla, the spider from New Japan, come out and everyone's gonna go, whoa! And that's what's gonna happen in All Out, and I'll be the next challenger. Then after that, it'll be Dakota Kai. It's copy and repeat with AEW when it comes to that. It gets the crowd popping because they have new signings to feed to the division. But again, the division is dead, and now they're gonna bring women's tag.
That division, no. That division's dead. The decision to put Toni Storm over Jamie Hayter is stupid. You're telling me, all you guys in the chat, you're gonna tell me you wouldn't be invested in Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm again? Seriously? You wouldn't be? I would. And then you have somebody else for Mercedes to throw. You want to debut somebody? And you want to feed her to Mercedes, which is ridiculous. That's how they get buried right away. But if you want to do that, now we have more than one women's match, Kev. That's the problem. You all want, look, this isn't WWE, so we're not talking about WWE. I'm strictly talking All Elite Wrestling. You people want women's wrestling? Why? Why the fuck do you guys want women's wrestling on this show? Again, I'm strictly talking about these 3 letters on my hat. That is it. Why do you guys? Why should people want to see women's wrestling on this show? When you have Megan Bain, Queen Amadada, Julia Hart to an extent, but she's good. Deonna Purrazzo is probably better in the ring than all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But you only care about 2 women in that entire fucking division. You only care to push 2 women. And now the 2 women now one of them has to lose? Now? At the biggest show of the year?
For both belts. For both titles, too. He booked himself in a corner. It says it on the graphics.
Wait, what?
It says it on the graphic.
No. You're kidding.
I'm gonna find the graphic. Keep talking. I'll find a few.
Okay, I was gonna say because I have my computer here, but what the fuck? No, see, I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. You guys, where's women's wrestling on this show? Some of you guys, but you guys should not want women's wrestling on AEW. They don't have a division anymore. Now, if I'm Mariah May and Britt Baker, why the fuck would I want to be a part of this? Look, I told this guy that, you know, we had a little disagreement, nothing crazy, that Mariah May was going to WWE. I was like, nah, we'll see. I don't know yet. I don't think I'm now 110% convinced Mariah May is taking her ass to WWE. Because I'm not going to lie, why would any of these women, Britt Baker, Mariah May, even Megan Bain, oh my God, her potential is being, I'm saying her name so much, but holy shit, her potential is being just wasted. Or not, like, Tony Khan just screwed over women's wrestling for AEW.
Camille. Where's Camille?
Doing Queen of the Ring. And that's the only fucking screen time she gets. It's ridiculous. If you guys know anything about Jim Cornette, he does not interview. He might have done some to promote Queen of the Ring, but he does not interview. And he did an interview with Camille and straight up said, you need to get your ass out of AEW. Tony Khan is not using you. He does not know what the fuck he's doing. And she like laughed and like she was so uncomfortable because she couldn't, she can't say anything. But like she can't, but it's just, I don't like it.
Ready?
Yeah, I must have missed it. Yeah. Winner takes, oh my God. Oh my God. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
I'm not talking on the side of my mouth. That's from All Elite Wrestling.
They have both of the damn titles at the top. Why? You just killed your... I'm not saying I didn't believe. I didn't see the graphic. I have not been on X. I woke up, got my energy, and I prepared for the fucking show we had to do today. I did not see this graphic. This is my first time seeing this graphic, reacting to it. Ridiculous. This is another Stephanie Vacquier. This is exactly why I hated it when Stephanie Vacquier won both titles. Because now what? Now what with your women's division? And now you have nothing. Nothing for your women's division. It sucks, but if you're an inspiring wrestler, I would, and you don't care about the money, good luck to you, because All Elite Wrestling right now isn't the place to go.
And Heather, I don't know if too much of it is because of Charlotte, because what Camille did, she moved from Tennessee to...
What does Charlotte have anything to do with Camille?
To Claremont, because she's married to her, she's with her ex-husband. One of her ex-husbands.
Camille's married to Charlotte. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, that's why I said, what the hell does that have to do? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
She moved to Claremont, Florida, which is just a couple minutes away from the Performance Center, about 40 minutes, 30 minutes on the highway. I thought she was coming NXT bound. When you make a move from Tennessee to Claremont, Florida, I'm like, oh, she's definitely, when we haven't seen her, she's definitely going to NXT. She ended up with AEW. Interesting. I was like, why? Because Claremont in country, she had a beautiful country home up there. Claremont is now becoming built as a city. Trust me, I've done a lot of houses over there. That's why I was like, man, I was surprised when Camille, maybe she wanted a downgrade. I don't know, but that's why I was kind of finding it weird when Camille moved to Claremont. I thought she was NXT bound. Now she's nowhere. Maybe because she took that interview with Jim Cornette. Now she's bound. That means then, you know what? Tony Khan should really think about selling his company to a person who loves wrestling, who will have thick skin. Because listen, in the world of business, you have to associate with other people. If you're going to hold people a grudge and bury them because they friends with other people in the business, you're in the wrong business, pal. It's like me if I would say, wow, Chris, I'm not talking to you anymore because you went on so-and-so podcast. You went on their live stream. When you belong to this channel, you shouldn't be talking to them, pal.
Dude, if that was the case, I wouldn't be here because I have this. I'm known in the Pittsburgh Steelers community. I go on other creators' podcast as a guest. So like again, I know what the comparison Kev's making, but I'm saying what I'm saying because they do it in the wrestling business. That's why I personally don't like it. Chris is ours. No, it's funny. Of course. Like, but like being a guest, like, you know what I'm saying, or just doing one thing, but it goes for the wrestlers as well. And that, so it's I don't like it. I think it's unfair. Because you gotta have thick skin too. You gotta have thick skin. He needs to have thick skin. You belong just because. Again, you could be hey, I'm trying to build this. Can you help me out? Hey, yeah, sure. I'll do something for you. I'll guest appear. I'll make an appearance. But I'm Team AEW. I'm Team Sports Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tony just has to understand that as a boss. Yeah, and he needs to trust. He needs to trust. And if he really cares about that shit, he needs to trust his wrestlers.
And I think he doesn't, because here's another thing that we see from his playbook. Whenever there's a hot free agent that comes over that was on WWE radar and they decide to go with All Elite Wrestling, they all sound the same. They all say the same PR bullshit. Go to Josh Alexander. I picked Tony Khan. Really cares about the company. That's why I picked him over WWE. He cares about our wrestlers. They all same thing. Saraya, the same thing. Mercedes. It's like is that the company bullshit Kool-Aid that they drink? And I'm saying
think about how many NDAs have had to been signed through that company. That company is you want to sign an NDA, go to AEW.
I mean, but here's the thing. If there's some truth, do you have to force your talent to let that come out natural? It kind of feels like it's forced, where they have to take shots. Oh, well, that's why I chose them of the knee, because this is more a friendly role. Is it that friendly where people like Ray Phoenix can't stand, was dying to get out of there? People are pissed off that they're not being used. It's so many back and forth. Look, both companies aren't perfect. All companies aren't perfect.
I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of shit that WWE does that's kind of shitty. They cut people out of nowhere when they buy a house. When they buy, they just Katana just bought new homes, and now they're unemployed. That's kind of shitty. Come on, it sucks. Then you're unemployed. Certain people move from a different part of the country around the world, and you to be a WWE superstar, you're done. It's part of the business, but let's talk about I don't know. I don't know if he really thinks that, but it sounds like the same copy and paste PR.
No, because why the fuck Saraya gone then?
Remember when she said she had creative freedom and she loved a boss that will listen to me. Listen to you bullshit. So much that you're sitting at home. You ask for your.
You know why she said that? Any guesses?
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm all you.
Tony gave her the title in her country at the very first All Out. It's that fucking simple.
Of course. It's simple. In front of her family.
Yep. And her family got to be in the ring. And you know what happened a week later? He signed Saraya's brother.
Exactly. And once the brother's gone,
he's gone. He got released.
Right.
Then they don't release. AEW does not release people, mind you. They let their contracts expire.
Correct.
So
it's a double standard. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. There's so many crappy, shady shit that WWE has done. He's a marksman. That's right. He's a madman. He's a madman. Look.
This is somebody. I'm somebody who's been watching this product 6 years. Tony Khan, I respect Tony Khan. I think when I say that, I mean he gave a company, he built a company that I at the end of the day I love. Whether I'm talking all this crap about it right now, I love what they give us. They give us as creators, as people who do this shit. I mean, we could have ended the street. If we didn't have this, we'd ended the street. We'd be out of here an hour ago. But they give us something to talk about. They give us something for you guys in the chat to interact with us about. He gave Sting a great return. Like, there's some stuffs of Tony Khan that I fully respect. He's a fan of this business. That's where I have an issue. He's too much of a fan. He's playing with his action figures. He's not thinking of it. He's not being a businessman. He's not being the leader of a wrestling company. He's strictly being Tony Khan, the little kid that grew up watching WCW. That's what this feels like. And again, I can respect what he's doing, what he's done, but that's what his flaws are, is he's too much of a fanboy. He doesn't want to think about money because he has it because of his Jacksonville Jaguars, which now you know why they're one of the worst fucking teams in the NFL.
They suck. He doesn't want to run an organization. Pretty simple.
It's that simple. So again,
Jacksonville Jaguars been around for 25 years, and they're considered the worst franchise. One of the worst franchises.
They had one good year when they beat the Steelers in the oh my god in that play.
And then they got rid of Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin goes to the Giants.
They had one good year. They got rid of all their and they're so bad, bro. They draft first. They have Trevor Lawrence. They have Travis. They have the dude from Clemson that's a running back, and now they have Travis Hunter. I mean, yeah. But anyway, my point is the Cons. We're talking about football and the Jacksonville Jaguars to tell you guys the Cons don't know how to run a fucking business.
They don't run a business. They don't, like, and Shane Punk says it. They're here to make.
They know how to get. They know how to. They just know how to. They know how to give us. Like, let's compare this real quick, because again, we've been going on for a while, and I apologize, but let's really sit down and think, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars. People get hyped up. Oh, Trevor Lawrence makes his debut. Oh, Travis Hunter makes his debut. Oh, Jalen Ramsey comes, right? Back in the day. And then they suck. They don't give you guys anything. What's the difference with AEW debuting wrestlers and then using... That's the same shit. Tony really takes that... Am I wrong? Is that a good comparison? Like, am I wrong? That's literally what it is. That's what the Cons do. They bring you guys the big players or the big wrestlers, but they don't do anything to make sure that these big players and big wrestlers who are good and can produce, they don't set them up for success, whether that's football or AEW. And as two football fans, we're not. I give you guys we give you guys the football comparisons because we're not just saying this to bullshit you guys. We're seeing how the Jacksonville Jaguars are being run, and we're seeing how this is being run. It's the same shit, different field.
It's being run the same exact way, dysfunctional, with Mervyn Meyer in the group, and all the all that. I mean, they just keep taking so many hits. And again, hopefully you can't be like, they can't say, well, they're a young company when you've been running a professional league, and they have a soccer team. Let alone, I don't even know how good they are. So I don't even know.
They're good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Okay, all right. So at least that's well done. But the other sports, they're not that great. They're not good running the show. So maybe they're doing too much. My point is, this company, you see flaws that shows up in, night out with them. And where Saraya wasn't booked because she didn't want that. Look, Saraya was brought to AEW where no one wanted to touch her with her bad neck. Saraya was brought in to try to lower some Mercedes because I think they sold the bill of bullshit to Mercedes. You have a match with Saraya, you get your that closure, because I think Mercedes kind of blames Saraya, vice versa with that neck injury where there's some type of deal there, and that's all it was. They were supposed to have that big payoff in AEW, and they never did. And I think Saraya said, you know what? She saw the writing on the wall. And said, I'm out, because that's what it was. It was all a ploy to get Mercedes to that company, and she said, you know what? I'm screw this. I'm gonna go write book. I want out. That's what it seems like. Hindsight 2020. Look at here. Let's go right to the main event because we want to wrap this up. We want to wrap this up here because it's Will Ospreay versus Hangman Page, a match that went a little bit too long, in my opinion.
It started at 11:45,
and then they start off with a collar elbow tie up at 11:45 into a headlock. Are you kidding me?
I'm not gonna lie, Kev. You want to know the positive about staying up that late was? We got to have a funny moment and laugh when they botched that table.
Oh,
look, we the table collapsed. Like, again, we're not. We're not gonna. That's why we're not. We're gonna. I'm gonna at least keep the same energy I did with Zelina. It's okay. It's whatever. I mean,
It's okay.
it's whatever. It's the table. Maybe the too much weight on the table. The table.
Yes.
It probably could have was. The Ospreay one off the top rope. He just tried to do some fucking insane move and just slipped. You know what I'm talking about, right? I think Hangman was on the rope,
and we said it was okay. He went underneath. The slide underneath him.
He went underneath, and his back, Hangman's foot, landed on Ospreay's back, and it didn't look that great. But it took way too long. But the match, look,
it's wrestling.
If the match didn't take too long, and the certain spots should have been the finish. Obviously, it's Ospreay versus Hangman. It was obviously it was a good in-ring match. It was beautiful. I loved it. Loved it. But it was amazing. Just there were spots like, okay, that should have been the ending. Oh, like at least 5 times, Kev. There were at least 5 different times that were like, is this it? Is this it? Other than that, I thought the match was fucking awesome.
There was a spot here that irritated me. Hangman is supposedly dangling over the top rope.
And then he waited for Ospreay to come up and do the move.
I went and I opened up a pack of hot dogs. I grilled them. I put ketchup. I put onions. And I came back to sit down. And I took a bite of the hot dog, and he was still dangling on the ropes, waiting for Ospreay to set himself up from the top ropes for a leg drop. Get the fuck out of here. This is why I can't stand his matches. Like, we're supposed to wait 20 minutes for you to adjust yourself.
That was stupid. That's the third one. That's the third one. The time, the spots, the finishing spots, the time, and that specific spot. Yes, those were 3 critiques.
For TV, not good. For the audience, loved it. The audience got a treat. The audience got their money's worth. That was great. Will Ospreay is one of the greatest wrestlers live for a live audience, but he is one of the most terrible wrestlers when it comes to television production. That's just my take.
That's fair. No. As Will Ospreay, as one of his biggest fans, that's fair. That's not a bad statement.
That's it. That's all I feel, and that's my opinion. That's my take when it comes.
No, that's not a bad statement, because there are spots, indie spots that don't look good on TV. Sometimes the cameraman, he does too much sometimes to where the cameraman misses a lot of the spots, even on his TV, especially on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple spots on Dynamite, especially when like him and like Kevin Knight are going at it and they're both doing the crazy shit, like, which is awesome, but sometimes the cameraman just can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? So I think there needs to be more of a. That's why you have production meetings. Fuck, we have production meetings here. That's why you need to talk to the kid. Yes, and cuts and releases. So it's you gotta have that conversation with your cameraman, just like you have conversations with your producers, just like I have conversations with Kev during our watch-alongs. Producers, you gotta have that, man, and not just with anything, but especially when you're on national television.
Look, you're right with that. With Will Ospreay, I think that's why they wanted I know Will Ospreay loves AJ Styles. He was in the news saying AJ to quit WWE's contract to go wrestle him in AEW, which was the most stupidest, idiotic statement you could say. There's contracted wrestlers, like them saying, Will, tell Tony Khan to go kick rocks and come learn how to wrestle on TV. Listen, one thing that they told AJ Styles when he was in TNA, and AJ Styles admitted, maybe he should have a conversation with AJ Styles. Seriously. Because one thing that they told him when AJ Styles was in TNA, from Bully Ray Dudley, from Booker T, this was said on Busted Open and openly said plenty of time.
And on Chris Van Fleet.
Yeah, they told AJ Styles, get out of AEW. Go get out of TNA. Go learn how to wrestle in the WWE, because you ain't learn shit until you learn how to wrestle WWE style TV matches. Less is more, and they'll show you why. And AJ Styles admittedly said himself, he took their advice and he learned what he means. He found out firsthand what it meant. He didn't have to overdo it in the ring to get over and become a mega superstar. Maybe that's what Will Ospreay needs.
Because Will Ospreay, because Kev, they need that because, like, I don't think you understand how much AJ Styles means to Will Ospreay. Like, he's like what Mike Santana means to us. He's like what Damian well, like they had a match in like 2017 in the Indies. So I don't know if maybe I watched it. It was in like Rev Pro or like some UK shit. It was awesome. But this is like before Ospreay like really blew up in the New Japan scene. This is like before Ricochet. This is when Ospreay and Ricochet were having matches in high school gyms.
When they were sword fighting.
Yeah, when they were sword fighting with each other in high school gyms in front of probably the same amount of people now, but no, less. But the point is, AJ Styles means so much, and every single interview going back from New Japan, on New Japan programming, because AJ Styles is a big part of that scene. He said openly, "My hero, AJ Styles." Why the fuck do you guys think he did the Phenomenal Forum? Why do you think he does the Styles Clash? He calls it the Styles Clash. He doesn't change it. He literally says, "I'm using the Styles Clash. I'm using the Phenomenal Forum." Like, AJ Styles is his idol, is his fucking hero. You guys know how Rey Mysterio went up to El Hijo and was like, "Mira, tengo cuidado with all the shit you're doing, bro. You're gonna break your neck." I did the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, AJ needs to have that conversation with Will Ospreay. And the beautiful thing about the wrestlers and the mature ones, the veterans like the Rey Mysterio and the Rey, mind you, Rey said this to El Hijo when he was in, AEW. Like, they don't care. Like, they want to, like, especially for Ospreay, like, because he knows how much because he knows how much Ospreay means for him. Maybe it's something like, "Look, I don't care what company you work for. Let's have a conversation. I want to help you get better." And then whatever. Like, I think it could, they need that. Just like the El Hijo and Rey, because it changed El Hijo. Tell me that he doesn't do all. When you saw the X Division match, you didn't see El Hijo do all the crazy shit like he would. So maybe that conversation with Rey was like, Rey was probably like, "There's certain times you can." I'm not saying stop that triple moonsault you do off the top rope, but doing that every night is, one, gonna get old, and two, you're gonna break your fucking neck.
Yes, and I'm gonna address this. I didn't say that he wasn't a star in TNA, wasn't made in TNA in New Japan. They told him, get to the WWE to understand how to slow down a bit your pace so you can have longevity in this business. That's the comment that was told to AJ Styles, which he backed it up on Chris Van Fleet. It wasn't that that WWE made him the superstar that he is. He was a superstar. He is the face of TNA. If you look at the history, Mount Rushmore of TNA wrestling, it is AJ Styles. We all know that. We all thought he was coming back, but WWE has taught him how to do a different style of matches to prolong his career, where he could be still focused as a superstar. That's why he got that reaction at the Royal Rumble when he arrived. Because they knew who he was, and now you're going to see him level up in the WWE platform. That's exactly what they were trying to tell him. Get yourself to the WWE. That's what they say. It's not because, they're not going to, he wasn't a star. Yeah, they want him to go to another level, because there is another level, regardless of the fact if you believe it or not, which is WrestleMania to WWE.
Yeah. I agree. No lies told. When you think of AJ, when you think of TNA, how the fuck can you not think of AJ Styles? I will never forget, man. The Royal Rumble, and this is how you guys. And look, we're not. Kev did not say that because I don't know if you guys. I was watching the Royal Rumble. It was in Philly, where AJ Styles debuted against Roman Reigns. As soon as the word phenomenal popped up, that place fucking erupted. And everybody at watch-alongs were still a thing at the time, but they were really underrated. And the people that were doing, like, they weren't watch-alongs, they were just people recording their reactions and uploading it. And all of them were wearing Bullet Club t-shirts. All of them were like, "Is that AJ? Is that AJ? He's here."
They knew who
Yeah,
he is.
we all know who. I'm a TNA kid. Like we know AJ. Like it's just when
That means
when
he
you
was a
get.
star.
It was a star. He just. It's not. Again, it's not his credibility. It's not his status. It's his work. It's his. You can be LeBron James. You can be Steph Curry. In my opinion, the greatest shooter God has ever created. Just like Stephen A. likes it, but I agree. Even Stephen Curry has a shooting coach that critiques him still. LeBron James, arguably the greatest player in the world ever to ever play in the basketball. He still has trainers. He still has guys that teach him. He still is taking critique. So when you're AJ Styles and you're on the you still can be critiqued. That's what WWE helped him do, and now he's better. I think that's a fair comparison.
Chris, I'll say this one more thing. Said by one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. When I say that, who do you think? When I tell you that, greatest wrestler of all time,
Ric Flair.
Just throw 2 names. All right, got it. Boom. That's the guy.
Okay.
That's the guy I had in mind. When he said back in 1992, he was the greatest wrestler of all time, but he got elevated when he came over to the WWF. That short sprint, because he learned a different point of wrestling. He got elevated to another level. He was one of the greatest at that time. I believe it was a 13-time world champion when he got to the WWE.
Yes.
He got to another. And again, it's not because WWE is the end all, but there's a different style. When you also talk about Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, you talk about Ric Flair. Let's talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is he a Mount Rushmore wrestler?
Yes.
In your opinion? Okay. Give me another one. Just a Mount Rushmore wrestler. And just one more.
Bret Hart.
Okay. Did they high fly? Did they do the flips and they high fly? I know it's a different style of wrestling.
Bret Hart is arguably one of the great. He's known for being one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever.
The only one that incorporated a little bit of high flying lucha style was Shawn Michaels, but he still did the in-ring.
Yes, one second. Keep going.
So they still did the in-ring with Shawn Michaels. They still did the wrestling on the ground. There's a different when it comes to wrestling. Is still when you think about the greatest, they're still doing that. Where that's all they're telling a high flyer like a Ospreay. Yes. You could ooh and ah, and you could still use those great moves assets, but you want to slow it down a little bit because we want you to stick around for 17, 25 years. We want to celebrate your 25 years in professional wrestling while you're in full physical condition. But if you have knee, back, look, it's Randy Orton who doesn't high fly and he has bad back. So what you think? What makes you think of Ospreay?
My bad, had a personal call there.
That's why they're trying to warn, or they're trying to tone it down a little bit to Ospreay. But it's not because people don't want to catch up to him. They just want him to have a longevity life because this guy could bring money to any company. But if he's gonna
I mean, he's so over too, dude. Like, I didn't fall in love with Will, like, not like that. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't fall in love with Will Ospreay, the wrestler, as a fan. Because of his in-ring. I mean, that's a big reason. It's his character. I mean, he comes out with his people. Why isn't he wearing a suit? Why isn't he dressed? The way he dresses is how I dress. Under Armour sweatpants with the socks rolled up on the. I've been doing that since I was in middle school. And with the Nike jackets, I'm like, yo, that guy literally is my style. Like, I'm calm, I'm simple, I dress up for occasions when I have to, but and then like his, he likes to curse. I don't condone it. I don't think it's but as a 22-year-old man, sometimes it's a habit, slips out sometimes. But so that he does it for him. Dyslexic, right? I'll share this with you guys. I wasn't the best student. I might have been really good in college. I graduated college with honors, but in high school and middle school, I was a little bit dyslexic myself. I sucked at reading. I could not get along with teachers, right? So I didn't it's Will Ospreay the character. It's him that gravitated to me. So with Kev talks about, we want Will Ospreay, whether he's your cup of coffee or not. We want Will Ospreay to succeed long term in this business because he appeals to people like me, like Ethan, who's in the UK, trained at Rev Pro, kind of in his footsteps. Like, there's so many. Will Ospreay, like, he's inspiring people just like AJ Styles inspired him. So whether people realize it or not, he's a big favorite. Same thing with Darby, which he'll be back. So.
Look, the last thing we want to see something to happen to Will Ospreay that happens.
Is he break his fucking?
That's all. That's all.
This happened with what?
With Chris Bay.
Yeah.
We don't want to see something.
That's exactly. Nope. That's a perfect way to put it.
That's all.
That's
and
all.
Leon Slater was lucky he didn't end up in that same situation. It was great on that move by Leon Slater when he threw himself from that post. But man,
and AJ Francis, you guys, I'm one of those people guilty. I will never shit talk that man again because he put his arm out and realized that Leon Slater would have hit his head.
Yeah.
So AJ Francis, I know you have me blocked. I will never say a negative thing about you again. I think you're fucking corny, but that's it.
We're gonna say goodbye because we got to come back on for Raw later on tonight. By the way, Liv Morgan is back tonight.
Holy shit! There's today's Monday. Oh my god.
Yeah, forgot about
holy
that,
shit,
right?
dude! This Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I gotta. I might. Yeah, I might.
For work.
I might be a little late for that one, but we'll see. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So thank everyone. This was good debate. Good debate. Of course,
this was good. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We appreciate it, Alex. Please sub. We also do watch-alongs, Alex. Not on the YouTube platform. We have what's called the playback, where we actually show you the wrestling event. You get to see the wrestling with us. We have the TV on with the wrestling, and just like that on our screen, you see us there, and we have the wrestling going on live. While we comment and watch along, we invite you in the chat. We even want you to come on as a panelist to come and join us. Fine, you got to find us on Playback app. The link is in the chat. In the video description. If you need that, I don't mind. Let me place that one more time. Let me get that before we say goodbye.
No, you're good.
And don't forget, tomorrow, I want to give a quick update. Tomorrow, we have an interview with independent wrestler Johan Nara. He's from Dynasty Pro Wrestling, independent scene from New York City. We have an interview tomorrow here on this channel.
Thank you for reminding me of that because my schedule's so fucked up with Memorial Day and because we do this show, Alex. We do this show every Saturday. Because all the weekly wrestling's done. That's why it's called Let's Talk Weekly Wrestling. All the wrestling's done. But with Memorial Day, all these wrestling, we decided to do the show on a Monday, so which is really good. We needed to. So again, make sure keeping a lookout for Saturdays. I just wanted to clarify that. And if there's wrestling events on Saturdays, be on the lookout for Sundays. If there's no next game,
if there's live pay-per-view, that's also fair. So we got that tonight. That's at the Playback TV, or you can follow on X. We'll show it on X as well. Not on YouTube. YouTube does not allow us to show any live footage. We used to do the watch along. You guys want to see footage. You want to see people. Want to watch and react to wrestling with us. You're not just us sitting at a computer, looking at the desk and forcing reactions. We're not going to go, is he coming? Is it him? Who is it? Who is it? Oh, really? Huh? No, for real? For real? Is it him? Oh, no, we want you to watch the wrestling with us, not the fake forced reaction like other people. They could do what they want to do. That's why that's watch along. That's great. That's for them. But for us, we want to show you the video while we react. You're going to see, not just hear, what's happening on your television screen. So that is our playback. Please check that out. Hit on the link. Subscribe. It's totally free. It doesn't cost nothing at all. Playback, we got all the different wrestling watch-alongs there. Everything else, interviews and so forth, for us here. We ask you to check our interview. Wednesday, we got two interviews. We got Nat Castle, the Latin Spice. Latina Spice will join us at 5 o'clock, and then at 7:30, we got the Brooklyn Outlaw Donovan joining us. Brooklyn Outlaw Donovan from the independent scene as well. As we continue our showcasing our independent wrestlers, the Latin and Latina men and women from independent scenes. We want to interview. We want to hear their story. We want them to tell us their story. We want to know about them, how they got in the wrestling business. We, at least me and Chris, want to know their story. We want to know about them, and we want to share their stories with you on our YouTube platform or anywhere our voices are heard, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We want the world to know. And by the way, there's a lot of wrestling. Hope our boys, the Uptown Boys, did well on that tag team turmoil. Matt, awesome. And of course, Jared Diaz. Hope they had a good weekend, as well as JC Storm had a good one. Hopefully she had a great up-and-coming one. And Nat Castle as well. And Naidi Robles as well. She had a big one last weekend, and this weekend. So I hope they tear the house down in their indie scenes, friends of the program, of course. And then we got Amanda Fuentes joining us on the 11th. Amanda Fuentes, the professor, joining us on June 11th. I can't wait to sit down and talk with her, her story, her journey in the world of professional wrestling, and the way she juggles being a teacher, being a professional wrestler, doing all those things. A lady with multi-talented, with many caps on her hat, feathers in her cap, and I want to know how she takes that down, how she does. Give me the secret. So I'm interested to talk to her too, and of course many more. So stay tuned. So many more independent wrestlers as we lead to Mike Santana Puerto Rican weekend for the House of Glory in a couple of weeks. We're definitely all over that. We want to see all different. They announced, Amazing Red, Clarissa Rivera, aka Electra Lopez, part of that card. Damont. There's so many great wrestlers in there. Yes, Tamahashi. Right? What's his name? The guy with no neck from New Japan.
Tomohiro.
Yes, I'm here. He's taking on Mike Santana in the main event. Oh, yes, and many more. So, with that said, we thank you guys.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yes, and this is our video to tell us who we are, who we have interviewed in our channel. It's a little bit long, but stick with it. You'll see who we interviewed, and it tells you a little bit about us. Like Alex, this is who we are, and we are the Heel of the Ring podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks for telling us who
Epiphany? Wait, he lives in Tennessee.
Damian Priest is going to cost him the match.
So go fuck yourself and shut the fuck up. There's nothing wrong with someone where you can use someone to elevate your status, but don't hurt the fans. Don't take a piss on us and say it's raining. Be honest, because seriously,
that's just a funny analogy.
All The Rock has to do for the Hall of Fame, you couldn't do a Hall of Fame speech. Say, for Triple H, come and be a satellite, dressed up, even if you put on a monkey suit at home or in front of the, I'm pretty sure he has some beauty. Bruce Buffer with us.
Very much for your kind words. I really appreciate that. Everything is going according to schedule. I knew when I started 25 years ago, this was going to be the biggest thing in sports, and fighting sports especially, and that's exactly what it's become.
Hey Kevin, it's going to be the UFC flyweight champ. In short term right now, I just want to get into the ring games and start winning fights there. One of the biggest influences were George St. Pierre. I just love his style. He was so well-rounded and just so good everywhere. And that's kind of like how I want to be, so I like to watch a lot of his fights and try to emulate him.
You have it right there from the one and only, your grandmother's favorite wrestler, Mr. Matt Awesome. This is the Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network from BI Sports Jedi Kev, PG Chris, and Matt Awesome. Tell me about your journey coming from the Bronx. How did you get into wrestling first and foremost?
Man, I've been a fan since I was a baby. Like
I see you in Three Legacies Wrestling, because that's my.
Oh, I met him last year because they wrestled for TWA, and I actually had a match. I was in a fatal 4-way with Zoe Cannon.
Zoe Cannon, she's the Zoe Cannon. I was gonna throw it out there. I want to see you and Zoe Cannon go one-on-one.
I need that one-on-one too.
Ricardo, Ricardo, he retweeted. He knows me. He retweets my stuff. If you go back on his recent, he retweeted my clip of last week. So, Ricardo, make it happen, please, brother, please.
It needs to happen.
Please.
He did the whale on me. It was hilarious.
That my goal is to become the first ever Gremlin House Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. So, don't worry, mother-in-laws, because I am not like other girls. I am much, much worse.
What's up, Kevin? It's me, Mildborn. I just wanted to come on here real quick and say thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and the fact that you're there every Tuesday really means a lot to me, man. I heard you got 7,000 subscribers now on your podcast, and that's something to be proud of, and I hope it continues to grow and do well, and I'm happy for you, man. But anyways, thank you for your support. I'm glad that my matches are inspiring and that they're fun to watch. And I hope that each week I continue to get better so that fans like you can enjoy watching them and support. So again, thank you so much. And I hope to meet you one day at one of the NXT shows and looking forward to it. See you, Kevin.
Big Sexy Billy Swanson. Billy, welcome to the program. We appreciate you on this beautiful Thursday evening with us. Thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. My foremost is, how are you feeling after that wonderful fight? You won us over here. We'll break into that, but how are you feeling, my friend?
I had my mic off, muted, but no, I feel good, man. My calf's a little bruised up, and I've got a couple inches in my foot I can heal from within a week and get back to gym full time.
Are you at the gym currently? Looks like you're at the gym. Am I wrong?
No, I am at my gym. We just finished a wrestling class ran by Philip Manfred, college wrestler. He used to be a college wrestler, college coach. He's got like 17 years in coaching. He's really, really good top class wrestler.
Gotcha. All right. And okay. Well, let me ask you this: what got you started in MMA? Like, what made you decide to become a pro fighter? Is it something you grew up watching and wanted to do, or is it something someone presented you when you were older, or like a teenager, or?
Well, what's funny, what got me started into it, don't get me wrong, I did grow up watching it, but I never had the interest of competing. But I got into it because I was actually out of shape, man. I was like 330 pounds, I was fat, out of shape, and let's go, no big person running. So, like, I had to run. So I was like, I could go learn boxing, kick.
Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Long live Lexus King.